Sports 1440.
And the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.
Darnold getting that.
High cross tracking back as Rose does.
Yep.
High cross tracking back as Rose does get ahead to it. Bobbled again. There's some.
Force 1440.
And the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.
High cross tracking back as Rose.
This is the Jason Gregor Show.
Keeps it himself. To the right.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
On the ground. Breaking tackles. James Cook.
40.
And
Up with it again. He's on the ice.
This is the Jason Gregor Show.
presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
On the ground. Breaking tackles. James Cook inside the 20. Inside the 5. Somersaults to the touchdown.
Force 1440.
And the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.
Darnold getting messy, going deep. He's got Jefferson. He's got Jefferson. It's a foot-race downfield with Brown. Shifting gears. Getting up on 6. 97 yards. Holy smokes.
Well, a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook at sports1440.ca, wherever you use your app, whether it's iHeart, Radio Player, or Stingray. Thank you very much for listening and watching the show. Those saying hello on X and Instagram as well. So have fun. The Gregor Show, as always, is presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get into the game. Ooh, it was upset weekend in the NFL. A lot of them. 6 upsets on Sunday, including some absolute blowouts. So we'll get to that. Also, nobody won. So tomorrow's Max Million, Lotto Max, 80. $80 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. I'm Jason Gregor. He is Connor Halley. We got lots and lots to discuss. If you were watching the Oilers Prospects game, you haven't seen a lot of offense. Through 8 periods, they have scored 1 goal. But Corbett's had 3 tilts, 1 in each game. Young 18-year-old player for the Medicine Hat Tigers, who are actually going to be loaded. If you're a WHL fan, when the Tigers come to town to Edmonton, that's a team I think you're going to want to watch. It's going to be a tough test for the Oil Kings, but the Tigers are going to be really, really good, and they're tough. But this is kind of expected. The Oilers are in a state for their franchise where they're a cup contender, and their prospect pool is going to be rather shallow. Not going to be a lot of depth in there. That's just how it is. So I'm sure for some Oilers fans, you get chirped by opposing fan bases on social media. You might want to do yourself a favor and just not engage, because for the next few years, you're probably not going to have a real deep rookie roster for the Edmonton Oilers because a lot of their good young prospects, they'll keep the odd one, but a lot of them are going to get traded just because they're in their window to win. That's how it's going to be. Now, they did acquire some draft picks for Holloway and Broberg, which isn't ideal. You'd rather have those two, but they have a few extra picks. They'll deal some of those, I would think, leading up to the trade deadline. But that's how it's going to be for the Oilers. They will have medicals on Wednesday, and Thursday will be the first day of training camp. They will have skates on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, fan day. Many of you will be going. Locker room sale and some autographs. And there'll be a game that night when the Winnipeg Jets are in town, as well as on Monday. So a week today, we've already had one preseason game and two more next Monday when the Oilers host the Flames and also have a split squad into Calgary. So we get on that. The CFL, the Elks had a bye, and the BC Lions got trounced at home. That was the one game that impacts them in the standing. So they are now 1 point back of Saskatchewan. They're 4 back of BC and Winnipeg. They have a game in hand on BC. The race in the West is very close. Now, Calgary managed to get a tie, so they are 1 point behind the Elks, so they're still theoretically in it. They play Calgary once, does Edmonton. They also play Saskatchewan, and they play Winnipeg twice, including this Saturday. I think it's going to be a big crowd. It's going to be a great game. Saturday against the Bombers. Then next Friday, they are in Winnipeg, so a home and away with the Blue Bombers. So we're going to touch on that. We're going to talk about just the crazy weekend that was the NFL. So first of all, let's start with the Saints. Second game of the year, second blowout win for the New Orleans Saints. Alvin Kamara had a pretty good week. If you have him in fantasy, you were happy. If you played against him in fantasy, you were not. Also, did you know, Connor Halley? Now, I got this from the Scorigami on anybody who follows it. It was the 1,086th unique final score in NFL history. 44-19. It had never happened before. There had never been a game in NFL history that had a score of 44-19 until that game. The Saints have put up 91 points in their first 2 games of the season. The second highest scoring team are the Cardinals at 69. Nice. But they are 22 points ahead of everybody else. They're killing it right now offensively. So, you know what? When they beat the Panthers, we were like, okay, it's the Panthers. But now they waxed the Cowboys. Are the Saints for real? Conman?
I don't think I'm prepared to get there yet. Like, I think they're a very good team. Obviously, they're gonna be hanging around there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for top spot in the NFC South. They'll pick up some easier wins whenever you play the Panthers, and we'll see. I think the book's still out on the Atlanta Falcons. Didn't look very good in week 1, but you got to give them some credit. I mean, they're able to run the ball. Derek Carr's very efficient. Rahid Shaheed downfield is making plays. You have in fantasy a guy you want to get out there because he seems to be a legitimate deep threat in this offense, and still got Olave and guys like that who can get involved. So I don't know if I'm sold on them 100% yet. The Panthers are downright awful. Cowboys, we've seen them have some stinkers like this in the past, but certainly intrigued by them and a fun team to watch, especially for fantasy purposes, because they are putting up points like nobody's business.
Well, Alvin Kamara is looking like elite running back right now. On the opposite end, the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is now 0-2 for the 4th time in his 5 seasons. And the Bengals are 1-11 in their first 2 games of the season under head coach Zach Taylor. Now, they've rebounded quite nice, but this might be the worst starting team each year in the NFL, the Bengals. They're awful out of the gate. Whether Joe Burrow's in or not, it doesn't matter. So, well, they got to pull up their sock. Now, they played better, but they lost to the Chiefs. Now, in that game, Travis Kelce, he had an NFL record 114 consecutive games where he had at least 3 catches in a game. That ended. He didn't get to 3 catches on Sunday. A little bit of foreshadowing for how they're going to use Kelce this season. And, he did have 3 catches in the first week, for 34 yards? He really hasn't done much for them. Not sure how they're going to use him. Now, they did lose Pacheco, and they're saying he might be out till week 8. God, my fantasy team, and how many people out there, like, Pacheco, done. You look at T. Higgins hasn't played. Addison is hurt. Seattle's missed the third, I like to call him.
Kenneth
Walker.
Yep.
He's banged up. Lots of injuries to key guys early on. Tua, of course, if you have him, you're not happy. So there's been huge amounts of losses. Now, this one, we'll have to bring this up to Struddy, but the Giants became only the second team in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns, allow 0 touchdowns, but still lose the game. That's what happened to them against Washington. That's quite the feat. You score 3 touchdowns, you don't give up a touchdown, but you lose the game. Only the second time in NFL history. Also, Aiden Hutchinson had himself 4.5 sacks and a forced fumble. That was quite the performance. The Panthers have been outscored 73-13 through 2 games. They're minus 60. You're losing games by an average of 30 points. And they were 2-15 last year. 1-16, 0-17 looks very likely right now. And Bryce Young, oh my goodness, like he can barely even complete pass in the open field right now. It's not good for him. One other positive that doesn't have to do with the NFL cons, and I want your thoughts on this, and might even get Declan to chime in on it, but have you been watching Travis Hunter play at all?
Absolutely, yeah.
So Travis Hunter, he's the two-way player for Colorado. He caught 13 passes for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then he played every snap on defense and had an interception. You don't see this very often. Do you think... And it makes me wonder if a guy's that good both ways, maybe he can play both ways at the NFL. Like we've seen guys, Deion Sanders played baseball, played football, but both ways. Could this guy become the Shohei Ohtani of the NFL?
Well, I mean, I think you're sleeping on Chargers fullback / defensive lineman Scott Matlock, who's doing something that Travis Hunter has yet to do and play both sides of the professional level. But I don't think so.
How many snaps did he do it?
Oh, he's out there. I'll take a look at his snap count and find out. He's actually playing significant time at fullback. It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
I don't know how well it's working, but yeah, I mean, this guy's ultra talented and has the skill set to do both. I wonder if NFL teams might say, we got to find one for you and kind of lock you down there. But if you put him out there at cornerback and then just say, occasionally we're going to bring you out here, on a game-to-game basis, depending on how things are going. If they're forcing 3 and outs and Travis Hunter's snap count is low and, he's good to go out there, why not? Because he's such a dynamic athlete. He can do it on both sides of the ball. One of the things I actually like watching about the Colorado Buffaloes is Hunter and what he's been able to do. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. We haven't seen a guy, play both sides of the ball. I'm trying to think back. Ohio State, I think, had Chris Gamble do it for a few years. It's remarkable what he's been able to do and have success, be so good on each side.
Oh God, yeah. Like he's not just out there, right? Like running routes and being a second, fourth, fifth option as receiver. He's one of the go-to guys. So it's been interesting for me to see that. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our inbox. Did you see the center in Green Bay? When Malik, his coach asked him afterwards, why didn't he throw the ball on 1 third down play? And he's like, well, his center, whose name escapes me right now, puked. And you watch the replay, he threw up. And then as he was hiking the ball, he threw up on it. And so obviously, and then gross. Like, imagine that. You're the quarterback in the game. The guy huts you the ball and it's got his vomit on it. Oh, gross.
Josh Myers, yeah.
Oh,
call a timeout. Like, sorry, coach.
Yeah.
That's a situation where I feel like the ref's got to get in and blow the play dead.
But did the ref even see it? Like,
I don't. Yeah,
it's hard to see if the ref would even see that. Because honestly, like it happened literally. Like he was obviously trying to hold it.
Yeah.
To tell at least after he snapped the ball. But oh my goodness, that was not. No, I don't. I know guys have thrown up before in the field. But is that a first of a guy, the snapper throwing up right on the ball before he snaps it? It's got to be.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I'm not the one touching the puke, so it's comedic for me. But I'm sure it wasn't for anybody else.
Back in my high school days, we went and got a chance to go watch USC practice, and the amount of guys who would just pull the helmet up, puke, throw it back down, and get going, unbelievable. I'd be down and out. I'm not a good puker.
Really?
No, I haven't out like since I was like probably 8 or 9 was the last time I like puked. Not counting the odd time where I had too much to drink. I'm not good at it. I'll do anything. I'll fight it as hard as I can. Like if I'm gonna feel miserable for a few hours not to puke, I'll do it.
Why not just stick your finger down your throat, get it over with?
I don't want to.
Hmm.
It's me versus puking. It's a battle.
Hmm.
I know you said you've done that before, like
Well, that
night of
doesn't-
drinking, right? To just get it out.
Oh, yeah, way better. That doesn't bother me at all.
I can't do it.
It's been many years, but if I need to, no problemo. I can do it. Not a concern at all for me. But it is early on, and you look at like the Ravens. Who would have thought that the Ravens are 0-2, the Bengals are 0-2, the Steelers are 2-0. So it's early, but that's kind of opposite of what a lot of people expected. Very quietly, Connor's Chargers are 2-0. Now they haven't had the toughest competition, but still, you got to beat who's in front of you. And they are 2-0. They've only allowed 13 points, so probably feeling all right. They're already 2 games up on the Broncos in the division. Panthers, Giants, they're 0-2. The Rams, people thought would be okay. So I look at the Rams 0-2. I look at who else? The Jags, the Ravens, the Bengals, all 0-2. Like the Jags, I got to stop thinking they'll be good because clearly they're never going to be good. But the Ravens and the Bengals, man, that's obviously, to me, the biggest surprise early on in the NFL season.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are 2 teams we thought for sure would have a little bit more success going into this one. The Rams, losing Puka Nacua and now losing Cooper Kupp. Like that's massive losses for that team. But yeah, that division, I thought the AFC North would be extremely competitive. Still probably will be, but surprising with a couple of those teams starts.
Well, and it can never count out the Steelers because all they do is find ways to win games. Year after year after year, they find ways to win games. 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, how many of these players from the rookie camp do you think even come to main camp? Well, they're going to need some bodies just because they want to have bodies around. So, obviously Savoy's coming, Warner's coming, Gruby's coming, and they'll have some of the other guys. Sam O'Reilly will come in. I could see him getting you got to remember, they have 2 games on Monday against the Calgary Flames. They play 5 games. They play Sunday, twice on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So 4 nights of hockey with 5 games. They're going to want some bodies around. But some of those guys might come in, get a skate or 2. But what happens is it'll all come down to numbers to ensure that they have guys rested where they're playing enough people. Some guys will play back-to-back on Sunday, Monday. And if you're somebody like a Raphael Lavoie, I remember when we had him on the show and I was telling him, you go to the coach and say, I want to play. And I didn't even know I could do that. So I would expect Raphael Lavoie to be in Coach Knobloch's ear right away. Coach, you need me to play Sunday, Monday? Sign me up. Because if you're Raphael Lavoie, you want to get as many preseason games as possible. So I would say out of, what do they have, 25 guys of that rookie? I would say at least 15 are coming to camp. Maybe a few more. We'll see how it goes. But I don't think any of them are good. Like Matt Savoy is the only one at that camp who I think has a chance to make the Oilers roster, and I think his chance is pretty low coming out of training camp. Doesn't mean he's not going to play games for the Oilers this year, and definitely doesn't mean he's not going to play games in the future. But he's 20-year-old. They're a very veteran-laden team. Their top 6 is set. I would argue that their top 9 forwards, we all know, Henrik Brown and Janmark, you throw them in. Podkolzin, I think, is a lock to make the opening night roster. I think Corey Perry's on your opening night roster. So there's 11 forwards. Derek Ryan, Raphael Lavoie, that's 13. Now, I do think Derek Ryan's in a little bit of a competition with James Hamlin, who played 31 NHL games last year. Lane Peterson, who's played 71 in his career. And then Noah Phillips, the wild card to me. He is the wild card. 6'3", really good shot, skates well, can penalty kill. I'm very intrigued by him. Now, he doesn't require waivers. So, him and Robbie Yarventi, both of them don't require waiver. Yarventi's kind of like Bouchard was. Remember when Bouchard played his first year in the American League, but it didn't count as his first year of his entry-level deal, right? So he kind of had that 4-year exemption. Yarventi's in the same category. So it's an ELC, but you actually get 4 years of pro before it ends. Those are rare. They happen, though. And he's one of those guys. So that probably impacts him. Hey, what is Connor? Is he trying to think he's Seinfeld fighting his vomitless streak? Touche, Rusty. Touche on Connor. He's just trying to fight it. Hasn't worked, though.
Like Jackie Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Except he actually did eventually, and never had prior. But yeah, it's a battle. What's the Seinfeld bit? Who's the non-puker there?
Oh, Jerry.
Jerry doesn't do it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, Jerry's he's a little bit anal retentive at times, for sure.
So I have friends who are just like, will literally be in a cab coming home from the bar and just say like, hey, sir, can you pull over, get out, like go around the corner, puke, come back and be fine. I respect it. Wish I could do it, but just not that bold.
Hey, boys, where does Kane slide in once healthy? Third line, left wing, first line? What happens? Zach and Red Deer. It's a good question, Zach. We won't know until he's healthy, but I look at Evander Kane, and then it gives you some options, a lot of options. And so who the Oilers start the regular season with and who they end is going to be very different. I think Evander Kane's going to be somebody they don't start the regular season with. We'll see how his recovery progresses. Right, he should be having surgery here anytime in the next week. So, and then it's 3 to 4 months recovery on average, but you don't really know until they go in to see how much damage there is. So that'll impact it for Kane. So let's say realistically he has the surgery next week. So let's just say, that puts him all of October, all of November, and then he comes back sometime in 2025. Whether it's January, February, whatever, they don't need to rush him back. He doesn't need to. Like if I'm Evander Kane, I am not rushing back. He rushed back off of the wrist injury and he played okay. But like Evander Kane, when I look at his next contract, he's going to want to have a good finish to this season and a good year next year so he can earn himself a multi-year deal. If I'm his agent, I'm saying, Evander, I don't care if you say you're 100% on January 1st. Let's wait another 2 weeks. Nothing wrong with getting stronger and just feeling better. It's not going to hurt him at all. I think it'll help him long term. 833-401-1440 coming up on the show today. If you missed it, Sidney Crosby, 2-year extension at $8.7 million. It's the same cap that he's had since his second contract because he signed a 5-year deal. Then he signed a 12-year deal, and now he signed a 2-year deal. Now, I know I saw a lot of people say, he turned down money. No. People have to remember, when Sidney Crosby signed his contract in the summer of 2012, he had just finished 2 seasons where he played 44 games and then 21 games. He was in the midst of dealing with what they thought was concussion, turned out to be a lot more whiplash and neck issues. So at that time, they weren't certain what his long-term health would be. He had played only 60 games of the previous 164 games. Right? He missed basically 100 games. And Pittsburgh still committed to him and a good contract at that point. Right? It wasn't a bargain. It was just long back in the days when you could sign long-term deals. It was one of the last ones you could sign. Right? Because the next year they changed it. So I don't really buy into that Crosby gave him the great deal. I'm sure if you asked him, in hindsight, he would say, hey, I didn't want to trade it. But when he signed it, he was getting that money guaranteed, and no one knew where his career was going. So we'll talk about that next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rule number 41, never challenge a goose in the Bow Valley. They run this town, and they know it. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
It's the final week of the Brick's famous tent sale, and everything must go. Take up to 70% off clearance items in the tent and store, and find amazing deals in every other department before it's too late. Take up to $1,400 off sectionals, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Hurry in while the tents are still up and the prices are down. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
At Fountain Tire, we love jingles. Get up to 25% off select tires.
Until October 19th.
Plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150.
Restrictions apply.
Book online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Mr. Rooter goes for a fall stroll.
Ah, the beauty of fall. These leaves are crunchier than that calcified shower head I replaced this morning. And the earthy yellow oranges and browns are as colorful as the wad of hair I pulled out of the shower drain.
Ugh, Mr. Rooter, can we talk about something else?
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you didn't like fall. You look about as sour as the sewer line I unclogged yesterday.
For a plumber you'll truly fall for. Call Mr. Rooter.
Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do, yeah, I do it. Yeah. Moved up the line, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. From the whips and my diamonds, I'm in black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Black stripe, yellow paint. I hear they scared of it.
226. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440. Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. And a big announcement today in the National Hockey League. Sidney Crosby signs a 2-year extension with the Pittsburgh Penguins. His contract, so he technically has at least 3 more years with the Pens because this season and then 2 more. His cap hit will remain the same as it has since his second contract. Signed a 5-year deal, 8.7. Then he signed a 12-year deal at 8.7. And now 2 years. Now, is he superstitious? Maybe he's a little stitious. We'll see. Let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And if you haven't tried it, what are you waiting for? The Big Arch. It's McDonald's biggest burger ever. 2 quarter-pound, 100% Canadian beef patties. Then you have the white cheddar cheese. Throw in the lettuce, and onions, pickles, and a new special tangy sauce. All in one. The Big Arch. Get it now at McDonald's. And it's a big day in Pittsburgh as Sidney Crosby stays on. And with 3 more years left, I think this all but guarantees he is going to surpass Mario Lemieux for most points by a Pittsburgh Penguin. And from DK Pittsburgh Sports, Penguins reporter Taylor Haas joins us. Taylor, obviously one of the biggest names, probably the second biggest name, maybe the biggest name in franchise history, signs. People are happy. They said this was never going to be an issue. I guess the question is, in the final 3 years of his deal, do you think he gets back to the playoffs?
I think so. I mean, the Penguins, they only just barely missed out, the last 2 years. I think this team, on paper, at least right now, looks better than it did the last 2 years. They have a couple young guys coming in who could help make the team younger, faster, like Rutger McGroarty. Dubas has done a lot to kind of get younger, because that's been one of the main issues the last couple of years. So Crosby did say today that, one of the things that had him comfortable signing a deal like this is he thinks they will get back to the playoffs and be a contender in that time frame. And he said those conversations with Dubas is what helped, made him believe that. So they're still committed to winning, and Sid seems to believe that they can make it.
Well, he had an unreal year last year. 94 points, 12th in the NHL in scoring, his third highest season in goals in his career. So he is he's aging like wine, almost getting better with that. The supporting cast, has to improve. Now, when Malkin's healthy, he contributes. But I look at, Michael Bunting. Maybe they're hoping more from him. Kevin Hayes. What about a guy like Cody Glass and Anthony Beauvillier? What's the expectations? And do you have any projection on where you think they might slot in when the season begins?
Yes, the Penguins have way too many forwards right now. If you look at, even not counting any of the young guys from the AHL who may make it, they really have like 2 extras of guys who should not be sitting, like guys like maybe like a Lars Eller or Noah Chari or Cody Glass, like you mentioned. So maybe the Penguins have another move left in them. You move someone out like Lars Eller, who's in the last year of his contract, and he has value to open up a spot for a younger guy. Beauvillier right now, I put him on the third line. I think a third line of him, Kevin Hayes, and then maybe someone like Valtteri Puustinen, like a young guy. I think you could get some energy out of those wings and maybe make up for what Kevin Hayes lacks. And then a fourth line. I mean, they have Shari, they have Eller, they have Lizotte, they have Glass, they have some of their own AHL guys. So that's where I think it's really hard to project, and it's going to come down to some camp battles. But I mean, there's a lot up in there. They have way too many forwards.
Raquel and Rust, are those the 2 wingers you think play with Crosby, and then Bunting and McGroarty, or is that too high of an expectation for McGroarty at this point?
I would think McGroarty starts in the AHL. I think that would be best for him development-wise. I think he's the first guy up. I mean, Crosby last year, he was mostly with Rust, and then his other winger was Drew O'Connor, another young guy. And Drew, didn't look out of place up there. So I would start with that. Raquel has experience playing with Sid too. He's not coming off a great year. I think people forget, or maybe aren't aware, he was injured almost all of last year. He missed a month. There's a shoulder injury, but when he came back, he was still playing through it. So I think he's primed for a bounce back year. But he has experience with Malkin too. Bunting has played with both Crosby and Malkin down the stretch. So, I don't think that we're going to see anything consistent. I think they'll move around like they did in years past.
Taylor Haas joins us talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sidney Crosby, a 2-year extension at $8.7 million. On the back end, you got Carlson, you have Letang, you have Graves, you have Peterson. They bring in Matt Grzelcyk. Who do you think is going to be the other defenseman?
I would go with Jack St. Ivany. He is really the only right-handed prospect in the system. He came in, he made his NHL debut mid-late last season, and he really didn't look out of place at all. Very physical, very steady back there. He really didn't seem to need that much time to get acclimated. The thing that would maybe hurt him is that he is still exempt from waivers. He's young, so they do have Sebastian Aho. The other Sebastian Aho signed too. He's left-handed, so if you put him on that right side, someone's going to be playing on their offside, which isn't ideal. But I would go with Jack St. Ivany on that third pairing, and maybe keep Aho as your extra, or try to send him down to the minors.
Taylor, where do you come out on Tristan Jarry? And what is he? Obviously, it has to play consistent, captain obvious, but where do you see his game at right now, and where does it need to be? Like, does he need to be out of this world, or just be consistent for the Penguins to get back to the postseason?
He needs to be consistent. I think he needs to be better than he has been the past couple of years. He obviously has dealt with some injuries too. That's a concern. But I mean, towards the end of the stretch last season, Nedeljkovic took over, and Nedeljkovic outplayed him and was the number one. So if Jari does falter, Nedeljkovic, it's not out of the question that he could take over. The Penguins also do have two really good goaltending prospects, Sergei Murashov, Russian. This is going to be his first year in North America. Then they have Joel Blomqvist, who last season was his first in North America. He played in the AHL, and he had an exceptional rookie season. He took over as the number one in the AHL by the end of the year. So if there's a move out there to be made for Jari and then to free up space for one of those young goalies, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. But Jari definitely has to be better and more consistent than he has been the last couple of years.
What's your expectation? Because I've heard some rumblings, outside of Pittsburgh, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You bring in a new GM, and a lot of times a new GM, eventually looks for a new coach. Now, they missed the playoffs. They've got a very experienced coach who has an excellent resume. But you know how it works, Taylor, in pro sports sometimes, that maybe there's power struggles or not. If the Penguins get off to a slow start, their head coach in any sort of hot water at all, do you think? Or is he firmly entrenched there regardless?
Yeah, I don't think we see Sullivan get fired, even if they do get off to a slow start. Something Dubas has said a couple of times now is that if you lose a coach or move on from a coach like Mike Sullivan, you're out there looking for a coach like Mike Sullivan. So Dubas thinks very highly of him. They actually have a great relationship, very collaborative. It seems like more collaborative than it was, under Hextall and Burke, that era. So they have a great relationship. Ownership, Fenway really likes Mike Sullivan. When they first closed the deal to buy the franchise, they were, calling him one of the greatest hockey minds in the entire game. So it would take a lot for Mike Sullivan to get fired. I don't think they're there yet.
Yeah, okay. I kind of assume so. It would take a lot for that to happen. Who knows? Maybe he's Paul Maurice if they get off to a bad start and excuses himself because he feels like they're not listening anymore. I guess that's always possible. Now, before I let you go, Taylor, I want to ask, I know it's early, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're 2-0. The Ravens are 0-2. The Bengals are 0-2. And the Steelers, they just always find a way to at least be competitive, 500 team all the time. What's it like in Pittsburgh? I know because the NHL hasn't started yet. The Steelers are a fairly important team. They're off to a 2-0 start, and some of their biggest rivals are 0-2. Are the Steel Nation pretty excited right now?
Yeah, the Steelers, that's kind of outside my wheelhouse, but from what I know of fans and what I've seen in the comments, on our own site and social media, they seem pretty happy to have the record that they have. I know there's concern about the offense because they have one touchdown in these two games. But it seems like fans are pretty happy to get away with the 2-0 start.
Awesome. Taylor, thanks for your time. Enjoy the season.
Thank you.
That's Taylor Haas joining us from Pittsburgh. So Sidney Crosby. I got to see do they have the depth? Because Crosby was amazing last year. Look at his numbers, man. 12th in the league in scoring. Had over 40 goals. Third highest goal total of his career at the age of 36. He was fantastic. And I can understand why he signs there. Everything he's known in professional hockey has been Pittsburgh. Everything. And keep in mind, the organization, when he signed his 12-year extension, they committed 12 years at 8.7. When Sidney Crosby, there were still some concerns about where he was in his recovery. Right? There were some people that remember it was concussions. Now they figured out that it was whiplash related too. But there was a lot of uncertainty. There were some really dark days for Sidney Crosby in the previous 2 seasons. Playing 22 games, 40. He missed a lot of games. And I think for the organization to commit 12 years for him at the time, when he wasn't 100% certain about his health, they got him at 8.7. So it was a good deal for them cap-wise, but it was a good deal for Crosby to get guaranteed money when you weren't exactly sure how healthy he would be for 12 years. Now, those contracts aren't allowed any longer. So it didn't look great for Crosby near the end, but let's be honest. He's made more than enough money. I think he'll be all right. So what is that going to be? That's going to be 17 years times 8.7, not including his entry-level contract years. I think he's been all right. Just gonna go into limb cons. When you have 17 years at 8.7 mil, I think you know what he's going to be. What's that? 140-ish, give or take. So he'll be okay.
He's done some commercials as well.
Oh yeah,
to help line the pockets a little as well. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. Hey guys, I was having an argument with some buddies on the weekend. Is it better to have Kane on IR or LTIR till he comes back for cap purposes? Well, it's better. Rob from Rose City. Rob, it's better to have him on IR for two reasons. Number one, if you put Kane on LTIR right now, you wouldn't get the maximum benefit of it. Right? The only way you'd get the benefit is if they went right to the cap and then push it over. So they would need to add about $5 million in salary to do that. And there's really no player out there to do it. And then because it's likely to be a 3 or 4 month rehab, not 6 months, Kane's likely coming back to your team sometime in January, maybe February. So then you'd have to clear out $5 million to get him on the books. So no, having him on IR is the best for cap purposes because you can also accrue cap space. Now they're not going to accrue a lot. Let's not kid ourselves. Right? When they're going to be like right now with Kane on the roster, they got about 950,000 in cap space, but they got to add a player because he's one of the 13 forwards. Well, obviously he's not going to be playing. So they'll add a 13 forward. They'll carry 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, 2 goalies, most likely. 22 players. The other guy they add is going to be 850, 775, whatever it is. So they might start with 200 in cap, but it adds up and it accrues over time. And they now maybe if they want, I guess they could just go 12-7 and carry 21 and accrue even more cap space. They could do it, right? It's not the end of the world. They got, homestand, whatever. So there might be days where they have a 21-man roster, maybe a 22. We'll see. But either way, you're accruing something. Whereas in LTR, you accrue nothing. They won't get the maximum benefits of LTR unless they're going to go get somebody else right now. And then they'd have to remove players anyway to bring Kane back. So makes no sense. 2:40. Come back. We got the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Sean Brown will join us at 3 o'clock. We got a few more questions on the Oilers. Oh, by the way, the Oilers, it's official. They lost for the second time, 2-0 in the tournament. They scored 1 goal in their 3 games. This was not an overly talented rookie roster by the Edmonton Oilers. They tried their hardest, but not blessed with a boatload of offensive talent right now in that group. Not a lot of experience either. Pretty young, even for a rookie tournament. Pretty young group. So we'll have Colin Chalk join us in the 5 o'clock hour to kind of recap the rookie tournament, but more importantly, kind of get set. We'll get his thoughts on Noah Philp, Lane Peterson, James Hamlin, some guys who I think are going to be pushing Derek Ryan for that 4th line center spot. Also, Raphael Lavoie. What does the coach feel Lavoie has to do to earn himself a spot out of training camp? We'll get to all that coming up with him in the 5 o'clock hour. It is the Monday edition of the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, and Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble!
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
In 100 meters, turn right. Actually, no. Turn left. There's some awesome new breakfast wraps at
Really?
Yeah. There's the sausage, bacon, and egg, a crispy seasoned chicken one. A spicy end egg, worth the detour.
They sound amazing.
Bet they taste amazing too. Wish I had a mouth. Take your morning into a delicious new direction with McDonald's new breakfast wraps. Add a small premium roast coffee for $1 plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays these fine folks from the swift completion of their appointed work, or something like that. They're the fine folks at GS Construction, and they do like to do their job, which could be infrastructure rehabilitation, water and drainage solutions, land development, general contracting, and dedicated maintenance and emergency repairs. Interested in working for such a fine outfit? GS Construction is always on the lookout for great workers. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
Elevate your home's curb appeal effortlessly with House Numbers Canada, locally owned and operated right here in Edmonton. Their state-of-the-art modern house numbers and address signs are the perfect solution for a quick and stylish upgrade. Multiple size and color options, stock items, custom designs, and the always popular LED illuminated numbers. Quality guaranteed or your money back. So what are you waiting for? Give your home the modern upgrade it deserves. Explore House Numbers Canada's exclusive collection at housenumberscanada.ca.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
Booster Juice has a secret. It's a secret menu of secret smoothies you can only see on the Booster Rewards app. Oh, wait. Guess it's not a secret anymore. Visit any Booster Juice and ask for the Raspberry Rapture, the Strawberry Dip, the Ocean's Tide, the Go Mango, or the Berry Bloom. Made with strawberries, raspberries, passion fruit, guava, and vanilla frozen yogurt. The secret's out. Tell anyone you want. Find the exclusive secret smoothie menu on the Booster Rewards app and sneak into a Booster Juice near you.
Hey there. It's your friends from Toyota. We see you pining over that RAV4 at the light. And guess what? The light's been green for a while now. It's time to stop dreaming about that new Toyota and start driving one. Lease a 2024 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $96 weekly for 60 months at 6.29% with $3,999 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
.246. Welcome back. Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Everybody watching live on Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook and X. Thanks very much. Got a lot of texts to get to at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll get to some of those, but first, let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where as you get set for fall, and you know it's starting to get chilly, check your furnace. You don't want it to conk out when it's really cold. If you're on the last legs, legacyheating.ca, you get a furnace, no payments, no interest for 1 full year at legacyheating.ca. Now, Cam Tate, of course, a longtime journalist in town. Cam is in a wheelchair. He has a cerebral palsy, and due to that, his disability and his voice didn't allow him to be on radio up until we started here. And the wonders of technology with the voice box that they take Cam's words and they bring it to life. Now, unfortunately, today, Cam's voice box is on the fritz. So he sent us his thing, and I will fill in one time and read. These are Cam Tate's words today here in the 2-minute warning. Thanks there, Gregor. Eagles tonight. Eagles with the points. Please forgive the shameless plug, but I'm in the final touches of my new speaking presentation called Your Rebound Reminder. And there's one story I always kept in the mix since I started speaking in 1981. With the Terry Fox run yesterday, I want to share the story that I've told some people in private that I'm ashamed of, very ashamed to tell. But before I dive into that, there were several Canadian sports writers, including some of the very best, who choked on their cold coffee and typewriter ribbons when it was suggested that Fox was not, yes, Uncle Pete, was not an athlete. I beg to differ. Anyone who runs a marathon every day, 26 miles, 42 kilometers on one leg, pretty darn athletic to me, don't you think? Now to my Terry Fox story. And I'm so thankful, yes, that I was wrong. It was 2 days after Christmas, 1979. The Alberta Northern Lights wheelchair basketball team hosted their first international tournament, but they were not very good. So they brought 5 players from the Vancouver Cable Cars, including Rick Hansen and Terry Fox. Fox had one hell of a shot. He specialized in 18-footers. After the first practice of both teams, Northern Lights GM Gary McPherson wheeled himself over to where I was sitting. He said to me, "See that kid sitting in the corner, sitting on the big beanbag chair? His name is Fox, Terry Fox. He has one leg. He's running across Canada in April to raise funds for cancer." His wheelchair basketball coach told me nobody had written about him yet. There's a national scoop for you, Tater. Now, I had been in the news business for 5 months. I was 21 years old. I knew news, I thought. I said no. It will never amount to anything. I did not have the time to write that story. And I left. I learned 2 lessons that day. As a reporter, talk to everybody. More importantly, never deny anyone of hope, because hope may be the only thing they have. Happy to say I was very wrong, and Terry Fox and what he's done has amounted to a lot. 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, Monday, Friday, Gregor Show, Sports 1440. And the Terry Fox Foundation now, with the Terry Fox run, is going on. Lots of us kids participate in their schools. And they have raised $980 million. Just over $980 million since Terry decided he was going to try to run across country. And I'm sure you've seen the documentaries on Terry Fox. It was one of the most inspiring stories. Like when you go back and you see some of the behind footage that they found, and just the fact that how many of us could run a marathon today as able-bodied people? Never mind when you have cancer and you have, one leg and one prosthetic leg. But to run a marathon every day and then get up the next day and run another one and another one and another one. Like, are you kidding me? Just the mental toughness, number one, but the physical toll that would take on you. And it's not like he had a shoe sponsor. It's not like he had any sponsors. They barely had any help. He had his buddy in their van, right? And that's where they slept lots of the times. Now, it started to gain a little bit of momentum as he came out of the Maritimes. But, man, when you watch it, you really see just how inspiring that was. So, Tater, you're right. To everybody deserves hope. And what Terry Fox has done for a lot of people and a lot of people dealing with cancer, it is utterly amazing. He is one of truly, without question, the most inspiring Canadians. Not athletes, Canadians. For me. It's great to see. And I know my son and his school, they get into it and they raise funds. It's great.
Gregor, we had his brother Fred on a few years ago, and I reached out to him last week just to see if it'd be possible. He said, unfortunately, he couldn't, would love to. He was actually in Dublin and then London to help raise awareness for the run. So the run, like we think of it, it's a Canadian thing. It's going worldwide now. It's really awesome to see what they've accomplished.
Well, we can get him on even after. Tell us about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's fantastic. So no, that's great stuff. So there you go. The 2-minute warning with Cam Tate every Monday and Friday. Tater's voice box working about as well as Tate's decisions back in 1979. Woo! It's one, eh? Everybody's had a scoop that you missed. There's one. Yikes. Hey, guys, I'm hearing a lot on Rasmus Ristolainen being traded from Philly to accommodate the need for a right shot defenseman. Any traction of this? Shea and Hamilton. Well, Shea, I haven't seen that anywhere. I don't see how Ristolainen really makes a whole boatload of sense for the Oilers on a lot of fronts. If their plan is not to be an LTIR, I don't see how you do it. Number one. Number two, he's got 2 years remaining after this season at $5.1 million. And his last few years have been, now maybe someone thinks you can still get more out of him. It's possible. But I don't know when. I do know the Oilers are they'll be looking for a right defenseman, but when? I think it's something that happens during the year. He does have term. So I know the Oilers, like in an ideal utopian world, they would love to find a way to reenact the Matthias Ekholm trade, except just do it for a right shot defenseman. Now, there's some challenges. So now if they did that, I guess you could say Brett Kulak's going to play the role of Tyson Barrie, in theory. Now, he doesn't have as much of a cap hit, but he's the veteran defenseman that you'd move out. Then they'd have to give up a top prospect and another pick. Now, that's if you're getting someone as good as Ekholm. I think it's going to be hard. But something along those lines, for sure, they would like to do it. Is Rasmus Ristolainen that guy? That is, you never fully know on players. They get into a different situation and things can look different. I understand that. Rasmus he's never really had the opportunity to play on a competitive team. Right? He went from Buffalo, where they never make the playoffs, and then he's into Philadelphia, and you know what? They weren't that good. He also, he only played 30 games last year, Cons? So I don't know. It's there's now, when you don't play in good teams and you play a lot of minutes, sometimes it's hard, but none of his analytics, expected goals, actual goals, for shots, none of them look great. Right? So now last season in Philly, in limited time, they did. So, and Philly was one of the biggest overachieving teams. But I think he only played 30 games. Did he not, Con? Do you want to look it up?
31.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well,
yeah.
it's close enough. So, I don't know. I would probably need to see a little bit more from him. Maybe have a good start to the season. And then maybe that's a conversation you could have, right? Because he hasn't played since February. Because didn't he get hurt right after the All-Star break? I thought it was right after the All-Star break. I thought he got hurt, and that's when he didn't play again. So, and then he'd be banged up prior to that. So, I don't know. He wouldn't be at the top of my list, but hey, when you're looking for a defenseman, you'd be foolish not to look everywhere. But for $5 million right now, the Oilers, you got to send some money out to make that deal kind of happen.
Yeah, 10th of February. So
that's when he got hurt?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, guys, why do the Oilers not want to go the LTIR route from Ryan and Bentley? Well, right now, so Ryan, in order to maximize LTIR, you would need to, because if Kane went on LTIR right now today, you wouldn't gain his full contract in cap space. Right? They would need to add quite a bit of more salary to then put him on LTIR so they can maximize his. Otherwise, you're just losing the cap space. So from a sheer numbers crunching, it doesn't make sense. Then number two, once you're in LTIR, you don't get to accrue any money. You don't gain any space. So I think if Edmonton was in a situation where they had other bodies, let's say they would have kept Cody Ceci for argument's sake. They don't have Emerson, but they keep Ceci. And then they might have added another player and said, okay, well now, you know what? We can be at 8 or 93 million and put Kane on LTIR. Well, then it makes sense for us. But they're not there now. They're under the cap. And if you put Kane on it, you wouldn't even max it all out. Wouldn't make any sense. There's not much benefit unless there's a player you can acquire who has $4 million cap space cap hit that you don't have to give up a lot of salary to acquire him. So there you go. Hey, Gregor, Erik Karlsson was on a crap team and didn't he win a Norris? Well, he had one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen. And Erik Karlsson has been a pretty good player in his career, right? Like multiple-time Norris Trophy winner. So, Rasmus Riesler. Now, I would look at Karlsson's numbers, and when he won that, I still think his actual like shots for and everything weren't very good. Let me look it up. But he did produce a ridiculous amount of points, which is good as an individual. But Rasmus Riesler's not that guy. So you're right. There's an outlier. It's a good point. But I don't think that Rasmus Ristolainen is necessarily that guy. Hey, guys, if the Oilers don't sign any more contracts, they'll accrue $4 million in cap space by the deadline. Christian, you guys are going off of the fact that they're not going to replace Evander Kane on the roster, and they'll go with 12 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 2 goalies. Under that number, yes. But I don't see the Oilers only carrying 12 forwards and 7 defensemen. They'll probably carry a 13th forward, and they're going to be minimum $775K to probably $850. So then it would be less than that, what they'd be accruing. So, yeah, keep in mind that the number you see today that only has 12 people at Puckpedia. I'm assuming that's the page you're going off of. They have 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 2 goalies listed, but they have Evander Kane as one of the forwards. So that means they only have 12 healthy forwards. I don't see that. Hey guys, what about Kane for Ristolainen? Well, Kane would have to agree with that trade. He has a no movement clause up until March 1st. Full no movement clause until March 1st. Then he only submits a list of 10 teams that he can't be traded to. Is Evander Kane going to want to get traded to Philadelphia? My initial guess is no. Well, he's building a new house in Edmonton. Likes it here. I don't think he'd be waving to go there. Even though he's coming off an injury, and then you got to jump into John Tortorella. Might not be the place for him. Quick break. When we come back, Sean Brown will join us in the studio on the Monday edition of the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Here's the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by E-Well, your partner in power since 1976. You need electrical gear? They got it all. And 24/7 online store. Order yours now at ewel.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Out in Penticton at the Young Stars Classic, the Oilers falling in their third and final game at 2-0 to the Jets. Colin Chalk, who was behind the bench for the tournament, will join us on the show at about 5:20 tonight. Pittsburgh Penguins have re-signed Sidney Crosby to a 2-year contract extension through the 2027 season with an AAV of $8.7 million. 37-year-old is entering his final season of a 12-year, $104 million deal he signed back in 2012. In the NFL tonight, Week 2 will wrap up in Philly as the Eagles host the Falcons. Kickoff set for 6:15. The Carolina Panthers making a change at quarterback. His first-year head coach Dave Canales will bench Bryce Young in favor of the vet Andy Dalton to start this weekend's game against the Vegas Raiders. Young completing 55% of his passes in his 2 starts with 0 touchdowns, 3 INTs in the 2 losses. Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco expected to land on the IR after suffering a fibula injury during Sunday's game against the Bengals. Looks like Kareem Hunt will be brought to Kansas City for a tryout. And Rams safety John Johnson heading to the IR with a hairline fracture in his scapula. He'll miss 4 to 6 weeks with the injury. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by former NHLer Sean Brown in studio. He'll be co-hosting from 3 till 5 today. We'll also talk some CFL football with Elks wide receiver Gino Lewis. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
You'll hear it around town. It's GMC's Canada-wide clearance. But at Wolf GMC Buick, we're putting our own spin on it. Not only do we have over 200 GMCs available, we also want you to upgrade your ride with 0% financing up to 72 months on the 2024 GMC Sierra Elevation. Oh, and how about at least $10,000 cash back in your pocket on in-stock heavy-duty trucks? Yep, it's Canada-wide clearance, and you'll only get these deals at Wolf GMC Buick, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road, just seconds from the Anthony Henday.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Carve out for a cause at the 6th Annual Jason Gregor Pizza Takeout presented by Swift. Thursday, October 24th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza while raising some dough for Kids Sport. Vote for your favorite slice to crown the People's Choice Awards winners. Don't miss Edmonton's biggest pizza party with Gregor Broadcasting Live. Tickets are $60 or $200 for a group of 4. Adults only. Buy your tickets today. For more details, see jasongregorpizzapigout.com.
At Fountain Tire, we love jingles. Get up to 25% off select tires.
Until October 19th.
Plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150.
Restrictions apply.
Book online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries.
Rule number
trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service,
41.
parts, rental, and finance. When you're in it for the long haul.
Rule number 41.
Edmonton Trailer.
So you've decided you want to start hiking. Nobody would say, I'll just wear my kids' flip-flops until I have more experience. The first thing you do is buy the right shoe size and style to fit you. Same with golf. You can't just buy clubs off the rack. They won't be the right size or style for you. Only Fitted Golf works with you to identify your swing style and then matches your clubs exactly to that swing. Check out our Instagram and YouTube channel to see the success others have with clubs fit to their swing. Fitted Golf, where we continue to prove it's your clubs.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at Chevrolet. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Silverado 1500 RST. Explore downtown hotspots with standard Chevrolet safety assist, including automatic emergency braking and HD surround vision camera. Or take on the great outdoors with an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine and available in-vehicle trailering app. Oh, look, a cute chipmunk. Not so cute. Not so cute. Ask your Chevrolet dealer for details.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
I never met a girl who makes me feel the way that you do. You're alright. Whenever I'm asked who makes my dream feel, I see you. You're outside. Don't be bad. Oh, look out, baby, 'cause you're
Of the Gregor Show and sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. Also, those watching on X and Instagram. Hello, good afternoon. Hope you had a good weekend. Maybe your NFL team won. The Elks did not play, but they host Winnipeg this Saturday. Maybe you watched a little bit of the Young Stars tournament. The Oilers went 0-3, scored 1 goal in the 3 games. It was expected to be a tough tournament for them. Fairly inexperienced group overall, top to bottom. Not a ton of high-end prospects on that team, which is kind of expected, considering where the Oilers have been for the last few years and where they're likely going to be for the coming few years. Now, that doesn't mean that scouting is important. It's actually, I would argue, more important. They're going to have to unearth a few good late-round gems and really develop them properly. So we'll see if that happens or not. Former first-rounder, Silver Spoon first-rounder, Sean Brown joins us. Brad, what is going on?
This is a first. I've never had any NFL merchandise before.
I didn't even know. Are you a Bills fan?
Now I am. Why not?
Oh,
I might as well. If we're going to talk about it, I might as well try and find a.
So you jumped, well, because you grew up close to there. So that's your team now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up watching them a little bit, had friends that, were fans of them. And, like I said last week, I watched I watched a lot of NFL. I've never sat and actually donate or had a whole day where I've kind of dedicated to the NFL. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching, that Josh Allen. I think that he's obviously a talented quarterback, but you know what? It's kind of neat. Like the whole Bills Mafia thing is kind of cool. I've seen people wear, Bills hats and jerseys and different things like that, and they don't know each other, but when they walk by each other, they're always like Bills Mafia. Like they look for each other, and I think that's kind of cool. So, you know what? Why not? I got more time to watch sports. We're talking sports. It'd be nice to have an idea of actually what I'm talking about.
Well, that's good. So, you like to cheer for a team that's just going to crush your heart at the end of the day. That's what you're going for, right?
I don't know. I think that's the old Bills, right? I mean, obviously back when I was watching them with Jim Kelly, and we all remember the famous field goal and the missed opportunities there. But you know what? They're a young, exciting team. They got a quarterback that throws the ball well. He scrambles. They make plays. They run. Right? They pass the ball. You know what? Let's something to look forward to.
No, nothing wrong with it. Is the hoodie comfortable? Is it soft?
Absolutely. I like it. I mean, there was
it's actually good.
It's actually slim pickings, to be honest with you. Like to try and find, there's lots online, and I'm starting to become an online shopper because you have way more. Oh, I never thought I like to touch it, feel it, try it on.
Yeah.
But you cannot deny the options. The options, and there's so much out there, and I called a few different stores locally, and there wasn't a whole lot to choose from. So this particular hoodie wasn't my first choice, but I do like it.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with the hoodie. I actually think it's quite nice, so I don't have a problem with it. So good luck with your Bills.
Absolutely,
good luck. At least they're not the Bengals, who are 0-2 again, but historically they bounce back. We'll see if they do or not. It just made it hard because the Ravens are 0-2 and the Steelers are 2-0 to start the season. But your Bills have you know what, they've looked all right. No,
it's only one game.
I know. Hey, one's better than none.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see where they go from here. Now I didn't have many, and I'll be honest, I did not watch. The Bills I did not watch the much of the games on the weekend. I watched a little bit of highlights. So I think I watched about 10 minutes of the Friday night game. And it's kind of what I expected from that roster. Wasn't very experienced. There's not a lot of high-end prospects there. They struggled to score. They didn't give up a ton, but they struggled to score many goals, and maybe not surprised. Is there anything at all, individuals or anything that you take away from a tournament like that? Like you look at some of these, like there's so many undrafted guys there that were just, you're just trying to make a name for yourself and get noticed. And Nate Corbett, Brownie, 18 years of age, fighting everybody. You've got to fight every game of the rookie tournament.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, that's what you want, as a kid coming in that's there to prove himself. Is he not related? Is his dad not Rene Corbet, the guy that used to play in Calgary? And I'm pretty sure that's his dad. I used to play against him.
Okay.
And he was a handful to play against.
Yeah,
himself.
he was a feisty player.
He was very feisty. So
Yeah.
it looks like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But I mean, that's what you want in your prospects that are coming to camp, right? You want them to, put their best foot forward and do some things that, are going to be eye catching. And that's definitely one thing that's going to catch everyone's eye. I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, those players, there used to be a lot of them and there isn't nearly as many. So good on him. I mean, that's not an easy way to play, but I think as an organization and, I think what they would be looking for is just, the guys that they do have, are they doing the things that they brought them there to do, and, whether they were brought in as a tryout or they were drafted, they were all brought in for a certain reason. They had a certain skill set. So can they actually play that way and that type of setting, I think is important for, the scouting staff to see. I think it's important for the player to see. And then for the guys that, have been there for maybe 2 or 3 years, I think it's something, they want to try and evolve their game and not only bring what they were drafted for, but show other dimensions to their game. And, maybe raise some eyebrows because, even if there isn't opportunities, necessarily in the Oilers organization, most teams are bringing, their staff with them, right? Their scouting staff. And, I always find it interesting, my friends that are involved in scouting and, it's just, and you've had those conversations, like they don't forget names and they don't forget players. Right. And they're always watching, to see, if they miss something. And, everyone has amateur scouts. And so whether you have an opportunity with your, existing organization or you're always playing well, I guess, because you just never know, what opportunity might present itself because there's always someone there watching, looking for a player.
Oh, 100%. And you're going to have to uncover guys anywhere and you do it now, right? Hey guys, beyond late rounders, do you think there's any potential for the Oilers to take looks at undrafted players? Do you know who is the last undrafted free agent that was able to break in the NHL with the Oilers? Oh, I'd have to go back and look off the top of my head. Undrafted. No, but there's guys. Well, Derek Ryan was undrafted, but he didn't break in with the Oilers, but he's in the NHL now with the Edmonton Oilers. So there's quite a few guys like that. I would look at Edmonton. They're going to try to uncover players anywhere, right? That's how it's got to be. Stan Bowman talked about it. UFAs, Euros, NCAA, junior players. Doesn't matter where they played. You got to find some, and there's a few every year. There's one or two guys. There's actually quite a few I think players in the NHL today. The most are first round picks. The second most are second round picks. The third most are undrafted players.
Well, there's not a perfect science to it either. Like when you're scouting,
especially when you're scouting 17-year-olds.
Absolutely. Right. So you just, as a player, it's never over until your motivation and drive, right? Just becomes to a point where you just don't want to put in the work, but yeah, there's always going to be a player or two each year that's going to kind of, put himself in a situation where he's going to earn himself an opportunity because, it's hard when you get into certain organizations and depending on depth and where you fit in, like sometimes it just doesn't work out. Right. But these are great opportunities, these showcases, obviously throughout a season when you're playing and, there's always eyes watching. I mean, it's important to have that, amateur staff and have those guys, especially in a salary cap era where, you're trying to get guys to fit into certain roles.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think I look at Edmonton and when training camp begins on Thursday, Brandon, I'm sure you went to camp and you're a young player. You're your first training camp. You probably didn't expect to make the NHL team, right? Or do you automatically go there? Is it still like you got to tell yourself, I expect to make the team, even though you probably like Sam O'Reilly? We know Sam O'Reilly's not going to make the team. So what's his motive? What's his goal? Do you think? Is it to be like, hey, I want to try to get into 2 preseason games?
Yeah, I think you're always trying. I'm trying to think of my mindset. I mean, I was always trying to make the team. I think O'Reilly and anyone that comes to training camp, is thinking there's a chance. And I think when you get there, you're looking at it, there's an opportunity, but you're also looking at it to being like, hey, what is this next level all about? And you're just trying to soak it up. And you're trying to soak it up from your experiences on the ice, but you're also trying to take in as much as you can off the ice because, especially for me, and it's changed a lot now. These kids, have access to so much more, and their junior programs are basically like small NHL programs, right? They have fitness trainers and skills coaches and multiple coaches and access to video and just so on and so on. So, but when I was going through it, we didn't have a whole lot of that. So when you got up there and when these kids get there, you want to try and take advantage and really understand and see, there's such a difference between how a pro handles himself and how he plays and how he conducts himself off the ice and what he does as far as his preparation. That's important for these kids to see that because you're trying to develop pro habits, but it's hard to develop them and know what they are until you actually get there and see it. I mean, now kids are skating more often throughout the summer and probably get opportunities to get in that environment where they're skating with pros, but still, they're, when they actually get to training camp and you get to be around them in that environment, it's important because there's a big difference. And, I think any young kid that's coming in is wanting to make sure that they see that their game can translate and there's belief that they can actually play there, whether it's that year or in the future. And those are some of the takeaways, right? That confidence and the belief that you want to make sure that when you leave, you're like, hey, like it's not as big of a jump and this is possible. And hopefully, it's something you want to try and do sooner than later because your first one's kind of a freebie, I'll say.
Yeah,
your first camp's kind of, there isn't a ton of expectations depending on who you are that come in. So it's kind of a freebie, but your next year, it's all out the window. Right.
Even though lots of guys at 9, junior guys are still going back because they either got to play in the NHL or they go back to junior.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I would think definitely for some players for sure. And then you get to a guy like Raphael Lavoie, who finally got into an NHL game last year. He played 7 NHL games.
Yep.
And, at this time last year, he hadn't played any NHL games. Now he has 7. And I know that might not seem like a vast amount, but now he's an NHL player.
Yeah.
And it does change maybe his belief, but also the impressions of others. Like you're Raphael Lavoie. And when we had him on, and because I had a few players tell me that they go into the coach's office and say, hey, coach, I would like this. And he was kind of like, oh, I didn't really know you could do that. Right. Like some guys still think like you want to show the coach that you want opportunity. Right. Now, it doesn't mean you'll get it, but you got to word it in the right way. If I'm Raphael Lavoie and the Oilers they're playing Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Would it be like a bad thing to, when coach sees you, hey, first day, hey, coach, hey, good things are, hey, you know what, you need me to play back-to-back, I'll do it. I like just plant the seed of showing the coach that you're there because now we know McDavid's and Dreisaitl's aren't playing back-to-back, of course. Heck, they might not even play in any of the games early on. But if you're Raphael, how much do you have to maybe be a little bit more outspoken?
Assertive.
Good word.
Yeah, I absolutely.
Even to your coach.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, your actions in your play will obviously dictate that more than your words of going in there.
Yeah.
But, I always felt like everyone at some point has to go into the coach's office and kind of advocate for themselves throughout their career. It's a hard skill, it's a hard skill to get, and it's important when these kids are playing at a young age throughout their minor careers to have the ability to go in there. And of course it's not going to be polished or anything, but that's the start of it. So that hopefully if you're able to play this game, at the highest level, you have some practice going in there. But yeah, I mean, I've done it before. You got to make sure your backyard's nice, tight and clean before you go in there because, these guys are these coaches and managers and they're obviously very aware and professional and understand the whole you're looking at one picture, they got the big picture and they're very sharp. And, if you go in there and, you're not performing in practice or your conditioning, if there's a weakness anywhere in your game on or off the ice, I've been in those meetings before where you thought you had a leg to stand on and you kind of walk out of there with your tail between your legs being like, ooh, timing of that wasn't overly great, and coaches, I really don't think they expect you to be perfect either. Right. I've been on the other side too, where it's like, hey, you when you come in there and you show me through your actions. And it's hard. There's a lot of moving parts. It's hard for coaches to, give enough opportunity for everyone. It really is hard. And so when guys do come in there and you go about it in a respectful way, I think there is a level of respect that's given to that player. You don't want someone, I wouldn't want someone that wouldn't want, that's just comfortable getting getting what they're getting. Right. And so a guy like him, where he's got 7 games underneath his belt, I mean, this is a big time in his career, because you don't want to be necessarily labeled as kind of that insurance policy, right? It's like, hey, you know what? We can get him in some games here. We know what we can expect. He's not going to hurt us, right? You want to be a full-time NHL guy, right? So, I'm sure this was a very important summer for him to make sure, he worked on different areas of his game, where in the areas that the organization feels that he needed to work on, and then coming in the best shape possible. Because the other thing is, when young guys like that can get into a team like this, like a team that's winning and having success, everybody wins.
Yeah, it's true. Quick break. We'll return. Also, bad news, Rams fans. Cooper Kupp expected to be out an extended period of time and is a candidate to go on injured reserve. So the injuries keep piling up in the NFL. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
When you want to recognize the top performer on your team, come create memorable and customized trophies and awards with Elite Promotional Marketing. Elite's in-house design team will help you achieve your corporate award goals. Head to elitepromomarketing.com.
Booster Juice has a secret. It's a secret menu of secret smoothies you can only see on the Booster Rewards app. Oh, wait. Guess it's not a secret anymore. Visit any Booster Juice and ask for the Berry Bloom, the Go Mango, the Ocean's Tide, the Strawberry Dip, or the Raspberry Rapture, made with raspberries, cranberries, and vanilla frozen yogurt. The secret's out. Tell anyone you want. Find the exclusive secret smoothie menu on the Booster Rewards app and sneak into a Booster Juice near you.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Another heroes hiding in plain sight. GS Construction. But who are these supermen and women in hard hats? Why? They're the ones with the power to offer services such as infrastructure rehabilitation, water and drainage solutions, land development, general contracting, and more. And when they're finished doing what they do best, everything is covered and invisible to everyone's eye. So don't look for them in the sky. They're out on the roads and in your neighborhoods. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
325. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you as we roll through Monday afternoon. A few days away from the start of the NHL training camps, and then preseason gets going this weekend. We've got NFL, CFL, junior football. Man, there's lots happening. F1, hey, Red Bull no longer leading in the Constructor Series. That's a pretty big turn of events. Pretty big turn of events. So lots happening. But let's talk a little NFL. So we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you and your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. Beat reporter for the Philadelphia. We're switching that up. All right. Okay. Well, even better. I like that. Let's go to Gino Lewis, who had a bye. What does he do in his bye week? We'll find out. Did he relax? Did he go anywhere? Gino, welcome to the show, man. What happens in the middle of this is kind of late in the year bye week? Do you do anything different than an early in the season bye week?
Yeah, man. First off, thank you guys for having me on again. I was actually able and blessed to go to Africa this past bye week. I went to Morocco.
Really? So you fly the way. So you fly there, and you're there for like 5 days, and then you come back.
Yes, she is. So my girlfriend is actually Moroccan.
Okay.
Her mom bought a condo out there, and she basically was telling us that she was going out there months ago, and it just had happened that the dates planned up perfectly, and we had a bye week where I was able to go. So it was awesome and very rejuvenating.
Oh, I would guess. So what do you do for fun in Morocco? I've never been to Morocco. What's like if we're going there? What do we have to go see?
Yeah, so first we landed in Tangier, which is one of the cities in like North Morocco. So went there, went to a city called Azalea, which was another beautiful place in Morocco, and then I also went to another city that was the Blue City. So like the whole city is blue. It was about an hour and a half drive from where we were staying at. But it was just going out there and just seeing the culture, eating the food. Being around people and, just seeing a different dynamic of life, for me, it just makes you more appreciative when you come back to North America.
Gino, what's it like? You have a routine that you go through and then all of a sudden you get this week off. Like, how is it going that far away or going on a trip mentally? How do you get out of your routine? Because I found as a former player, it always takes me a while to kind of wind down.
I don't know. For me, I have a really good balance. Even going out there, I worked out all week. I was running on the beach. I was running about 6 kilometers, every other day. So I was working out at the gym. So for me, I make it a balance. It's a time to, get your body back on track and get away from football for a little bit. But at the same time, the situation that we have at hand, I understand what it is coming back here. I know the sense of urgency that we have. I know the opportunity that we have. So it's just kind of about finding the balance and just knowing as a person in yourself, what you're able to handle and what you can't handle, on the bye week.
Gino Lewis joins us. So, well, Gino, when we talked to you earlier in the season wasn't going how you guys wanted. You kept finding ways to lose games, not necessarily get beat, but you found ways to kind of beat yourselves. And obviously, you've eliminated that here lately down the stretch. I'm assuming it can't just be that simple. Obviously, when the coaching change was made, they put in Trey Ford to start some games, and then that seemed to give a boost to the team. But, as a guy, leader, veteran of that team, can you put a finger on some of the other things that have allowed you guys to start winning games rather than losing them?
Yeah, I would definitely say, the focus of the team has been a lot better since the beginning. For us, it was just kind of about believing in each other and trusting each other, trusting the guy next to you, and understanding that we really have a great team, but we had to come together as one and understand, like, how do we want this season to go? We were 0-7 at one point in time. Do we want to be looked at like this, or do we want to flip this thing around and give ourselves an opportunity and a chance? And I think a lot of guys on special teams, defense, and offense have been stepping up, making plays. Like I said, players are getting more confidence. We're coming together as a team on all aspects of the game. And just, like I said, we just believe in it a lot more. And, you know, when you start winning, especially when you get the first one, that's the momentum that you want to keep carrying on. And, you know, for us, it was about getting that first one and just keep it rolling and keep it rocking and things like that. But we've known the whole season. We've kept it competitive. We've been in close games the whole year, and it was just about finding ways to finish. And, you know, that's what we had to do. And, you know, as right now, that's what we're doing.
Gino, when you were 0-7, you know, what is the difference between the dressing room, the dynamics, and the atmosphere now that, you know, obviously you guys are doing a lot better? There's a lot more, you know, belief, and there has to be a better feel. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Listen, when you losing each and every week, especially the way we were, you know, on field goals at the end of the game and stuff like that, and it's tough coming into the locker room every time and having to hear the same thing every time. It's, you know, we're so close, and if we just do this one thing, or if we just not make this one penalty, you know, those certain games would be changed. And, you know, those were the things that we needed to hear, but we needed to display it on the field, because people can keep telling you the same thing over and over again. But until you make the change and, you know, you do it, you know, when it's supposed to happen, you know, that's what really matters. So, you know, like I said, the locker room is a lot better now. You know, guys are more excited to come in, and, you know, because like I said, we have an opportunity at hand that we know what's going on. And if we just take advantage of it to the way I know that we should, you know, it's just going to, like I said, winning just makes everything and everybody more happy in general.
Gino, you have 5 receivers with over 500 yards each right now. You know, you don't have a guy leading the league in receiving yards, but your team as a group on any given day, you've guys big weapons. Like Jones, I think only has 20 catches and he has over 500 yards. What do you make of your receiving group, and how, you know, you got a lot of different big weapons at different times?
Yeah, man. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome to you know, be this versatile. I think it's awesome to have this many guys have that many yards, because you just never know which guy is going to pop each game. So it's, for defenses, it's tough because you got to pay attention to all of us, and kind of, if you go man to man, it's going to be tough to figure out, you know, how to stop each and every one of us. And, you know, we always knew that. We always understood that was part of our game. And we always knew if the opportunity comes our way, we just got to make the plays when we got to make them. And like I said, these last couple of games and the games we've been winning, guys been stepping up. Guys are making the plays when we really needed them. And you know, just guys taking advantage of the opportunity when we need to. And it's great to see. It's great to see us come together. It's great to see guys make the plays that we expect us to make. And, you know, winning is what we expect at this point in time. Like, we expect to go into every game and win. And any team that comes in that we have to play, they're going to have to really beat us.
Gino Lewis joins us. Elks getting set to take on the Winnipeg Bombers, a first of a home and away against the Blue Bombers. And Gino, I know when your team's 0-7, you're probably not looking at the standings very much, but here you are now, winners of 5 of your last 6, and boom, you're right in the mix. And you're 1 point behind Saskatchewan. You know, you're 4 back of BC with the game in hand. You kind of control your destiny against the Blue Bombers. So I know you were away in Morocco, but you've probably watched Winnipeg here. That they seem to be a team like you. They had a little bit of a slow start, but now they've come around, a veteran-laden team. What do you feel, you as an offense, and we know that Trey Ford's starting, that was announced before the bye week. What does your offense need to do specifically against the Bombers to have success?
You know, for us, we just need to stay consistent like we've been doing. We need a run game to keep being consistent like it's been doing. The run game has been awesome. When the run game is going well, it opens everything up for everybody. It's going to open up the passing game. It's going to open up more of the running game, and it even opens up Trey to be able to, you know, pass and throw when needed for himself. And for us, again, it's just going to be about making the plays when it comes our way. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of respect for Winnipeg. You know, we know they kind of were in the same situation as us early on. And, you know, they kind of figured things out, flipped things around. You know, so for us, once again, like, we're a confident team too. We know exactly, you know, what we do. We know what we're capable of doing, and we understand, like I said before, you know, the task that we have at hand. But we're confident, man, and it's a lot of teams that I feel like they don't want to play us right now, and this is the perfect timing for us to play Winnipeg. We both just coming off a bye week, so there's no excuses for either teams, and you know, that's the best way. That's the best way that you would want it. And for us, every game now this year is a playoff game. From here on out, every game is a playoff game because each game matters so much to, you know, the rest of the season. So that's how we have to look at each game.
Gino, is there anything when you're coming off a bye week, is there any anything different how you approach a practice, maybe as a team or even you individually as a player? Is it, when you get there, do you want to get a hit? Is there something you need to kind of get back to reality that, a game's coming up?
No, I would think that, probably like the first 2 days, you just want to come in, get back implemented to understand, we back into the game now. Like everything that was going on during the bye week, it was awesome. It was great. But, sometimes you got to have amnesia and just, understand that we're back into it right now. So for us, it's just about, the first days, just getting some of that, just getting a little bit of running in. So, get your legs back under you, understand where your conditioning is at, making sure that you're all good and things like that. But you don't want to, at first, in the first day or two, you don't want to overly press guys just to make sure nobody's getting hurt. You want to make sure everybody's bodies is where it needs to be. But that, I think that's what the coaches have been doing for us, since we've been back and things like that. So for us, it's just about being focused and just really, really, when you play a team back to back, I think those are the most tough because it's always hard to beat a team back to back. But as long as you prepare the right way, you do the things that you need to do, the sky's the limit.
Gino Lewis joins us. Gino, can you kind of put into words maybe just when there's a coaching change, some things change. What have you noticed specifically the difference? Now, Jarius Jackson, of course, was here. He was your OC beforehand, but what's changed since he took over as the interim head coach? I would just think, his energy, his energy, how he sees the game, how he sees it as a coach. He's a very big player coach, you know what I mean? Things like that. So it's not really too hard to go talk to Jay Jack or nothing like that. And like I said, he's just a guy who he understands that he needs to believe in his team, and his players and things like that to be successful because, we're all trying to help each other. Like as the players, we're trying to help the coaches, and as coaches, they're trying to help the players as much as they can. So it's just about going out there, man, and playing for each other, man. You understand, you see how the type of emotion, some coaches have and, how they really feel about the game and, how much they care about it. You know what I mean? So it's just about, that's really what it's all about. I think for offensively, it's just for us. He just had more of a connection and being in with guys in the offense and just telling us, man, I believe in y'all and let's go and let's do what we got to do and things like that. But everything really has just been, taking it a game at a time. And that's all we can ask, man. All we can do is we help the coaches as they help the players, and we just go out there, man, and play for each other. Gino, as you head down the stretch, as a leader of the receiving corps, are you a big fan? Because we've seen him at times where there's a few coordinated touchdown celebrations. Will we see any of those from the green and gold receivers down the stretch?
Yeah. Hey, man, listen, you got to watch the game, man. Get your popcorn ready. I think we definitely got some more stuff in store for everybody. But, yeah, man, y'all just get ready for us to score some more touchdowns, man, and have some fun on that field.
Who is the are you the head coordinator? Who's the guys that kind of coordinate these celebrations? Who gets it started?
Nah, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not the coordinator. I'm actually like when it comes to the dances and all that stuff, like I'm the old guy. Like I'm really the old guy when it comes to that stuff. So I would definitely say Tevon Jones and Curly and Hergy and them, like that's kind of more the G-Zen thing. You know, like it's a G-Zen thing. You know what I'm saying? Them guys really, they kind of grew up on the TikTok and all that stuff. So it's fun for the game, man. The fans love it, the kids love it, and I try to just put my little ones and twos in there as I can.
Oh, well, that's good. Now you also you're going to be hosting flag football coming up, I think, for some of the kids. Are you not?
Yes, I'm actually the kids captain.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to be doing that in about a week.
Yeah. So what do you be teaching them in flag football?
Well, you know, basically first things you just want to teach the kids, you know, the fundamentals of just football in general, like, you know, how to hold the ball, how to run, how to avoid. Flag football is a little different, you know what I mean? Because you're not really trying to really hit anybody like that, but it gives kids the best chance to be competitive and you know, actually show their athletic ability and go out there and actually just have fun. A lot of kids, if you can give them the ball, they can run around and you know, it's like playing tag, you know what I mean? So but for them, it's just about also knowing where to line up and, you know, little things like that. But at the end of the day, man, it's really just to show these kids, man, just to have fun, bring them together, give them a good opportunity, a good time, and just to keep educating them on the game of football and how it works.
Is there anything, when you talked about the celebrations, they are truly amazing and I enjoy watching them, but is there another side where you're watching another team, they get a touchdown and they're celebrating? Is there a line that you can cross or can't cross in these celebrations?
I would say, listen, I'm gonna say, like, I'm the type of person where if you started something, don't be surprised if somebody else is gonna try to finish it. You know what I mean? So I'm the type of person that if you start dancing and you're winning and things like that, don't be surprised if another team, if they come in there and they score and they start dancing too, because that's part of the game. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be surprised with things like that, because if you're able to dish it out, you can't be afraid to take it. You know what I'm saying? So I love it though. I love it for the game. I love it for the people. I think it makes people elevate their game, to the next level and things like that. So I'm not really going to say there's a line cross. I mean, I'm sure there's certain things that you shouldn't be doing, in certain celebrations. But hey, man, by all means, do what you feel.
Gino, always good to catch up with you, man. Continued success. Thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. You have a good day.
You do. There's Gino Lewis. And I like Jones. Jones has a little bit of swagger, and there's usually one guy in the group. And I'm sure on your team, Brownie, and NC, there's always one or two guys who are a little bit more gregarious and outgoing. They'll come up with certain things, whether it's just getting the team together or doing something. And then the other guy's like, well, I might not be the organizer of it, but I like being a part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've all played. I mean, you need those guys in a room, right?
Yeah.
You can't just have a bunch of guys with the same types of personalities. It'd be pretty boring, right? So, there's always those lightning rod types of guys that keep things loose and fun. And yeah, I mean, that was interesting for me because I love the celebrations, right? And, we obviously have the same thing in hockey. And, I always felt as, hockey, it was always like, hey, how far can you go before you're now insulting someone? And now all of a sudden you're making a game that's even harder on yourself, right? So that's what, that question came from me, but it seems like it's a lot more accepted in football.
Yeah, it's just part of it. Like, I always say this, if you don't like their celebration, don't let them score.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
3:45. Gregor, Brown, Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We got a lot more text to get to. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Oilers and some battles. I think there's one obvious battle in camp. We'll get to it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Number 12, not spending the afternoon tubing on the Pembina? Next, you're going to tell us you don't wear flannel. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they won't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference. Volvo of Edmonton.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Carve out for a cause at the 6th annual Jason Gregor Pizza Takeout presented by Swift. Thursday, October 24th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza while raising some dough for kids sport. Vote for your favorite slice to crown the People's Choice Awards winners. Don't miss Edmonton's biggest pizza party with Gregor broadcasting live. Tickets are $60 or $200 for a group of 4. Adults only. Buy your tickets today. For more details, see jasongregorpizzapickout.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Imagine hitting 13 out of 14 fairways from the tee. It can happen. It does happen with a driver created for you by Fitted Golf. We are the only company in Edmonton who fits for all 9 features of each golf club. Amateurs learn to play like amateurs from amateurs. Come work with our professional team of scientists, engineers, and club builders and get fitted with the clubs designed for one golfer. You visit fittedgolf.ca today. Fitted Golf, where we continue to prove it's your clubs.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Oilers. Secure your seats before the season starts. Limited, full, and split season seats are available, including lower bowl sitting options. Grab yours before they're gone at edmontonoilers.com/season seats.
Sweet.
$3.49. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Always streaming live at sports1440.ca. Hope you're having a wonderful day. By the way, more injury news. Cooper Kupp. Rams fans, fantasy fans, add it to the list. Pacheco is out probably 8 weeks. Now you got Cooper Kupp is going to be out for an extended period of time. The Rams are 0-2 and their 2 best receivers are out. Their offensive line is banged up. Ooh, this could be an ugly season for the Rams. Matt Stafford might be like, maybe I'll retire halfway through the year because he is going to get hit a lot. Yikes. And now he doesn't have anything to throw to. That's hard. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Teachers, first responders, medical professionals, and military personnel. You can save an additional $1,000 off any new or certified pre-used Volvo only at volvocarsedmonton.com. And Brownie, medicals go on Wednesday and then on the ice on Thursday. And I look up front, I see really one battle. I'm going to say McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Arvidsson, Nugent-Hopkins, and Skinner. Those are locks. Janmark, Brown, Henrique, locks. I think Podkolzin is a lock to make this team. They basically traded him for Dylan Holloway. He'll get an opportunity. Corey Perry is on the roster. I'm not saying he's a lock to be the every night fourth line right winger, but I think he's on the roster. So that leaves 2 roster spots. Evander Kane is injured. So Raphael Lavoie, I think, is in the mix on the right wing, battling with Perry. But the one position I think that has the best competition is fourth line center. And your candidates are the incumbent, Derek Ryan, who will, Derek Ryan's good player, man. He turns 38 in December. 5'10", 185 pounds. Played over almost 600 NHL games. Then you got James Hamlin, who played 31 NHL games last season. Also same size, 5'10", 185, a little bit younger. In those games, had really good numbers. If you want to look at his analytics, his goal for share when he's on the ice, they outscored the opposition 9-5. He can kill penalties. He actually was more productive per 60 than Derek Ryan was last year in his games played. Now, the con for him, he shoots left. And the Oilers would probably like at least one right shot center. It's not a must. If Hamlin plays that great, he can make it. But I think that's probably what the one challenge he will have. Lane Peterson, 6'1", 195. He's played 71 NHL games. The last 2 years in the American League, he scored 39 goals, 76 points in 84 games. Really productive player. He's probably the most offensive, maybe potential out of them. But does he have the defensive side as much? That's the question. But maybe they put Henrique, Brown, and Janmark as your tough bottom six line, and they want maybe Pud Coles and Peterson and Lavoie or Perry as maybe a kind of like a more offensive-minded bottom six line. We'll see. And then the big wild card for me is Noah Philp. 6'3", 200-plus pounds, big, skates well, really good shot. Is good on the penalty kill, but he didn't play hockey last year, took a year off. Not for injury, not physically, so he's not like Connor Brown last year, had to come in and rehab, and we see that it takes a while for some guys to come back. It's more of a mental refresh for Noah Philp. So I look at that position. How well does one of those other three have to play, do you think, to knock Derek Ryan out?
Well, first of all, I think Derek Ryan's had an amazing career. Anyone that, has made it in the path that he's made it, right, is quite remarkable. And, the fact that he's not an overly big guy, I think he carries himself, handles himself very well. What you're going to get from him, what you're going to get from him, right? He's just that, veteran guy that's going to be reliable. But there is a time where what he has to offer, can someone younger do that with a little bit of size?
Yeah.
You mentioned Raphael. Yeah, exactly. Raphael Lavoie,
but he's not a center.
Yeah. Okay. But it's just like, do these guys, does their game translate to that? Does Hamblin's game translate to that fourth line? Does it really, what does it do? Does he still have growth and opportunity? Because that fourth line is not going to probably play an awful lot, right? So, that's a tough one because, you need some of these younger guys to kind of take a step, right? And I'm sure that they had great training and they're chomping at the bit to take another step in their career. So if there was going to be a change, even though I'm a fan of Derek Ryan because of his reliability and I love his journey and his story to get there, I think the window is open just because when I watched him play last year, for as good as he is and as reliable as he is, if we can get someone in that role that's just a little bigger, a little harder to play against, can create a little bit more energy and maybe a little bit younger and, probably a little bit cheaper too, right? Like those guys probably aren't making.
Yeah, but Derek Ryan's only making $900K, right?
Is that all he's?
There's not going to be much of a cap savings there realistically between any of them. I think Ryan's at $900K right now, and then I look at Peterson is probably at I got to look it up right now. He's at the league minimum $775, so it's $125K.
Yeah.
Right. James Hamlin, same thing. Noah Philp, they're all the same. So there is $125K difference there.
But I think if you're doing it right and guys are progressing and developing the way they probably should, he'd probably be the next guy's spot to be taken.
Oh no, 100%. Like I look at James Hamlin. If I'm going to look at his career, James Hamlin, if he's going to make the NHL, he's going to be a bottom six forward. Right, he's not going to be a top six guy.
Yeah.
So he's kind of at that age now where he's got 31 NHL games. He'll come in. He knows. I've talked to James. He knows exactly
who he is,
and kind of what's needed if he wants to do it. Now Noah Philp, to me, he's the wild card because size does matter, Brownie. Like if we look at the prototypical fourth line center, 6'3", right shot, can shoot, can kill penalties, 200 pounds. Like that fits the bill more. Now it doesn't mean it always works. If you have all the skill and everything else is equal, that's his advantage. He had you can't give it the other guy's size, right?
Because you're definitely playing when you got a guy at that size, and no matter how physical and how engaged Ryan is, they're coming at you two different ways, and you're thinking
totally
two different ways.
Yes.
So when all is equal, I mean, you got to go again. I know that we've all, or I've been in that situation a lot where you're going against the guy that's not overly big and physical, but he's giving you his best effort.
Yeah.
But you're kind of like, well, okay. But then now you got a bigger guy coming in, a little heavier, a little bigger, right? Covers a little bit more ice and, has that much more effect on the guy that you're playing against.
Yeah. Oh no, it matters. So that to me is the big battle. We all know about ice time on the right defense. That's going to be up, who's going to be the second and third pair defenseman. That's a battle, but it's wide open. I look at Derek Ryan and, Corey Perry's older. Corey Perry did score 12 goals in 54 regular season games last year. And I know come playoff time, speed may be a factor. And so Derek Ryan might be able to hold off guys in training camp, Brownie, and early in the year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a hard time holding it off after the trade deadline. or maybe even beforehand.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of how I envision it. I know that he's very well respected in the room. The one thing about Derek Ryan is he's not an idiot. You don't think Derek Ryan looks at the depth chart and realizes what he has to do? He always comes into camp as one of the top 3-4 guys when it comes to conditioning. So, he's a professional.
He's been around.
Right. And he didn't make the NHL until 28. He played 6 games. Didn't become a regular until he's 29 years of age. He's, I think, comfortable seeing challenges and facing them head on. Whereas some guys might, you know what, I've never really had to compete for my job. Derek Ryan's always had to do it. So I think he might be a little bit more comfortable, and this probably won't phase him, whereas somebody else might look and be like, oh, geez.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things for winning teams is the importance of everyone understanding who they are, right? And Derek Ryan, at his point in his career, or maybe throughout his whole career, is really understood who he is, right? And that's half the challenge for any coach, right? You want guys coming in there being like, hey, you know what? We see you as this, but more importantly, do you see yourself as that? Because when you get buy-in, I mean, it just makes coaching that much easier.
Right. So do you see any, like, are you with me on Pod Colson? Like, I see him kind of he's a lock to start the season here, and then he'll have to do some stuff. And, he's kind of a wild card for me. He's obviously a former top 10 pick, big guy that can skate. Talking to guys in Vancouver, they said when Pod Colson, his defensive game, really not a concern. It's last year he became too cautious. Nothing happened when he's on the ice. It's good if you don't get it scored on, Brownie, but eventually you want to do something. And so I'm kind of interested to see Pod Colson. You get into a new organization. Sometimes that's just the coach says something and it might be the exact same wording, but it's a different coach and you hear it different.
Yeah. What's intriguing is that when you're that high of a pick, right? Like it's not your talent necessarily isn't like drying up. You obviously have something to offer. And that's where you go back and you talk about these opportunities in these young guns tournaments and why you're playing not only for your existing club, but why you're also playing for the other teams. And, because of the pro scouting and how well and how often these guys are watched is for this exact reason, right? I'm sure the pro staff and the management all got together and have a ton of data and a ton of reasons why he's actually here and being given this opportunity. And they're also probably breaking down why he maybe didn't get opportunity with another organization because of somebody just for whatever reason was just a little further ahead of him in the lineup, whether it's contract, maybe he got nicked up for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just, you need an opportunity. We've all been in a situation where we, like players for certain reasons and slot them in certain situations that might benefit them, that might be fair. And we've been in situations where, you've looked at certain players and for whatever reason, you didn't like something about their game and you slotted them in a different area. And so now this, new opportunity, this fresh start, you can't underestimate the fact that these kids, when they go back year after year, day after day, are trying to evolve and find different ways, that they can be NHL players and how they can stick and be the best that they can. So this new opportunity, I'm sure, has just injected a ton of enthusiasm and excitement, and belief in him. So, belief and confidence coming into a training camp, if he starts to feel good and feels and gets his game and where it needs to be, who knows what the guy that's drafted this high, where the potential is at.
Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you. 833-401-1440. Which training camp battles are you most interested in as an Oilers fan? Forward position. So training camp battle and which forward, because we all know everybody's going to text in right defense. We all know that when we've talked about that one, and we've probably, buried it 10 times. So amongst the forwards, who do you like for that Ryan, Peterson, Hamlin, Noah Philp? Who do you think emerges on night one of the regular season? And what's your expectations? Who's your, I don't know a lot about him, but I'm interested to see what he does this year. Might be Connor Brown, right? Can Connor Brown be the player he was in the playoffs in the regular season? What about Adam Henrique now that he's here? What about Skinner, Arvidsson? There's lots of different ones. 833-401-1440. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. And they want to thank everybody who has come out so far in the bike drive for Sports Closet. We're up to 614 bikes. The goal is to get to 1,000. We have 2 more Saturdays, every Saturday from 10 until 3. Go to sports1440.ca. You can see the locations. They're at Sports Central as well as Fountain Tire locations around city where you can donate your bikes.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Out of the Young Stars Classic in Penticton, the Oilers are falling in their final game to the Jets 2-0. Colin Chalk, who was on the bench, will join us on the show at 5:20. The Pittsburgh Penguins have re-signed Sidney Crosby to a 2-year contract extension through the 2027 season. Carries an AAV of, you guessed it, $8.7 million. From the NFL, Carolina Panthers making change at quarterback. As head coach Dave Canales saying the team will go with Andy Dalton instead of Bryce Young. Young's completed 55% of his passes so far this season, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks, and 2 losses. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp, who left Sunday's game with an ankle injury, is expected to miss an extended period of time and could land on the IR. That comes from head coach Sean McVay. Also, safety John Johnson going to go to the IR with a hairline fracture of his scapula. He'll miss 4 to 6 weeks. And Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco expected to land on the IR as well after suffering a fibula injury in Sunday's win over the Cincinnati Bengals. Tonight, week 2 wraps up as the Eagles take on the Falcons. That'll get going at 6:15. And in the majors, you got the Twins, Guardians, Mets, Nationals. Tigers take on the Royals. Brewers host the Phillies, Pirates, and St. Louis. And the Padres welcome the Astros to town. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Olivia Reiner to talk some Philadelphia Eagles and the last 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It all began in 2006.
Edmonton's premier live music and party venue was born.
Well, guess what? We're now legal age.
On the Rocks is turning 18.
Party with us Friday night
as we celebrate our 18th birthday.
Happy birthday!
Enjoy Sound Station.
Live music from the Arcana King.
And a chance to win $500 cash.
Thank you for an amazing 18 years.
On the Rocks.
OTR's 18th birthday Friday night.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118.
Hey, it's Kevin Curious. We're heading into fall, but the deals are hot as ever at St. Albert Dodge. Like this, a 2024 Dodge Compass Altitude 4x4, discounted from $48,860 to $39,900. We're talking cool, black 18-inch aluminum wheels, a 10.1-inch touch screen display, Apple CarPlay, backup camera, all the bells and whistles. Good choice of colors, too. But supplies are limited. Get yours before they're gone. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Jonathan and Murray are friends.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Except when they talk about which stadium is more fun in the summer.
Dude, Commonwealth has Elks Fan Park. Tailgating at its finest.
But it can't compare to the old ballpark in the River Valley. Riverhawks games are electric. But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
It's the only thing everyone can agree on. So pick some up for your summer pregame snack.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you don't win friends with salad.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with a tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
In 100 meters, turn right. Actually, no. Turn left. There's some awesome new breakfast wraps at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah. There's the sausage, bacon, and egg. A crispy seasoned chicken one. A spicy and egg. Worth the detour.
They sound amazing.
Bet they taste amazing, too. Wish I had a mouth. Take your morning into a delicious new direction with McDonald's new breakfast wraps. Add a small premium roast coffee for $1 plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Yo, fellas, y'all ready to do this? What's up? Voice in effect, yeah. And it's about time. Yo, let's bring this up.
Gregor, Brown, Halley with you. How are you? Hope you're having an awesome Monday. Monday Night Football coming up tonight. You have Sidney Crosby signing his big 8.7. Not really new. It's kind of crazy, but same deal for him. Cooper Kupp, if you missed it, out. Pacheco, out. Got my whole fantasy. I might as well not even play. What a joke. You got five guys injured. Like, unbelievable. But you know what? I can't even get upset because I won last year. So it's just like, whatever.
What do you get for winning?
We have some cash and you get a trophy, and more importantly, you just get bragging rights. Like, we can't really put a price on that.
I thought I was part of
when
the staff.
when you win and Carius doesn't win a game.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I can have a better season.
So how do you get in on this? Did I miss it from Connor?
Well, no. Our league.
Oh, this is your
20 years.
Okay. This is like a special group.
Yeah, it's 20-year league, buddy.
Okay.
You gotta apply to get in.
Okay.
You have to apply. Brandon, you finally finally got a hoodie. So, yeah, well, I think you're ways away from. Well, actually, you know what? Hey, Brownie, do you know anything about fantasy football? No. Okay, maybe you can join the league. So, we'll
money.
see. Our next guest probably would be a good opponent in our league, as we will talk a little football. Olivia Reiner joins us from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Olivia, you play fantasy football?
I actually don't. Is that bad? Is that embarrassing for me? I don't. I feel like I kind of want to remain unbiased in like the sense I don't want to be drafting any Eagles players to my team, but I also think it's a good way to like stay in the loop with what's going on in the NFL.
Oh, I do. I actually have to follow closer, I find. So just to see, who's healthy, what's the third string guy here and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. More than anything else, more the chirps I think I like than the actual games. But it's been a crazy start to the NFL season. There's always upsets. There's always surprises. Typical. Lots of injuries, but the Eagles came into this season. There's high expectations as always for that team. Super early, Olivia, but what do you see? Maybe what's your expectations tonight against an Atlanta team who didn't show very well in week 1?
Yeah, I think the big thing for the Eagles tonight is that they're going to be without their top receiver, A.J. Brown, and he popped up earlier this week. Hamstring issue on Friday. He was a limited participant, and then on Saturday he did not practice at all. So no A.J. Brown, which is a huge deal for this Eagles offense. It's not to say that they don't have weapons in this offense besides A.J. Brown. We'll look to see Devontae Smith get a lot of the targets, tight end Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley contribute in the passing game as well. And then, of course, they're also going to be looking to some of the depth receivers too. Jahan Dotson, who the Eagles traded for a few weeks ago from the Washington Commanders. He played about 45% of the snaps last week. He's only targeted once, didn't have any receptions. This could be a big week for him. So they've got to find a way to get this done without A.J. Brown. I'm not too concerned about this Falcons team overall. I think they have a strong secondary, a couple of really talented safeties and Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons, but I think the Eagles can still find a way to win this one.
You mentioned Brown. What's the prognosis? How long?
We don't know yet. He hasn't been placed on injured reserve, which I would imagine is good news, but we haven't heard anything about exactly how long the Eagles expect for him to be out. I don't know if this is a longer-term concern. Had it been a long-term concern, I would have imagined that he would have been placed on injured reserve. But I feel that the fact that he hasn't been is potentially good news.
My understanding is it'll be an extra special night tonight for Eagles fans. Kind of one of the more unsung heroes in franchise history is going to officially retire as an Eagle in Nick Foles before the game. Is that correct?
Correct. I believe it's actually happening during at halftime.
Oh, okay.
I think they're going to have a ceremony for him, but he's actually, as we're speaking right now, I'm not there right now. He is about to start a press conference, so I'm sure there will be lots of quotes floating around from him talking about all of his memories in Philly, of course, winning the Super Bowl to cap off that 2017 season, coming in relief of Carson Wentz when he got injured. So, I think he is very much a hero in this city. Perhaps maybe around the North America, maybe not as much, but definitely here he is beloved, and there's going to be a lot of number 9 Eagles jerseys in the stands at the Link tonight.
Well, I would think, considering the long-standing history of that team And, there was a lot of painful years for him to win, the play that everybody remembers. But, he wasn't Tom Brady or like this franchise quarterback. Heck, it wasn't Donovan McNabb, who everybody thought was going to be a guy that led you to a championship. But for him to do it, I know that the Philly fans have a reputation of being rugged at times, but something tells me they kind of got a soft spot too for those underdog stories that turn out with the best possible outcome that he had.
Absolutely. And I believe he was photographed before all of this, his big ceremony today, his big press conference, everything. He was photographed with a dog mask I saw on Twitter. So that's a little hearkening back to that Super Bowl run and the Hungry Dogs run faster, all that good stuff. So again, yeah, huge, really a legend in the city and someone who is beloved and probably never has to buy a beer at any bar in Philadelphia ever again.
Olivia, interceptions were a little bit of an issue for Jalen Hurts last year. I know it's early, only game one. He threw a couple interceptions. Do you see any issues with any of his play early?
I think he did some really good things in week one against the Packers. I think he did some not so good things, those 2 interceptions and the lost fumble there being the main things there that he needs to clean up. There was a lot of sloppiness all around. When you look at the interceptions, he said that they were some bad decisions that he made that, they were on him. I think he was a little late with his throws. I think if he got the ball out a little bit earlier, that he would have been safe. They would have been completions. Concerned about the interceptions. I know one of the big talking points throughout training camp was the fact that Hurts looks so clean. He didn't throw any interceptions until the very last day. And I don't think training camp completions, interceptions, I think people make too big of a deal when quarterbacks don't throw interceptions in training camp, or they do. I think it's just kind of a neutral thing. But still, I thought he had a really strong camp overall. And it's not like, he wasn't throwing interceptions and he didn't look aggressive down the field. I think he was still making some deep completions to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So, all in all, there are some good, some bad from Hurts' play last week, but I think it's too early to be concerned going forward.
Olivia Ronner joins us talking Eagles and Falcons. The Falcons, their quarterback play wasn't the best from Kirk Cousins early on. We've seen Kirk Cousins, when he gets hot, he can be quite dangerous. You look at the Eagles defense, and what do you make of it? I know it's only one game, but what do you see ultimately as their best strength defensively?
Man, I've been very impressed with their secondary. I know it's only one game, but that was a huge focus in the offseason for Howie Roseman, was to upgrade the outside cornerback spot opposite Darius Slay after James Bradbury fell off really by the end of the season. It was not a good year for him overall, and it just seemed to get worse. So Bradbury is currently on injured reserve. They tried transitioning him to safety in training camp. It seemed like it was working out, but then he sustained an injury and now is out of the picture. So regardless, Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles' first-round pick out of Toledo this year, he started alongside Slay, and he looked like a pro. His NFL debut, he had a really strong game. And then, of course, in the slot, Cooper DeJean has the potential to make a push for that starting role. He did not start there. He was the Eagles' second-round pick this year out of Iowa. And I would expect that we see more of him tonight. Avonte Maddox started in the slot last week. I would think perhaps it will be DeJean's time to shine a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I thought that it was a good secondary overall last week. Safeties included there. Reed Blankenship posting an interception. C.J. Gardner-Johnson making his return to the Eagles. So a lot of good from the secondary.
Well, Olivia, we really appreciate you taking time on a busy day. Enjoy the Monday Nighter. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys.
There you go. That's Olivia Reiner joining us from the Philadelphia Inquirer. The Eagles, I'm kind of curious. Cons, Kirk Cousins' first game in Atlanta was not good, but their offense really was borderline non-existent. So what's your expectations for them? Can they get going, or is this going to be a tough year for him?
Well, I had to kind of hold back a little bit because I've been so heavy on Arthur Smith and blaming him for the Falcons' woes. And I thought, maybe it's just Atlanta. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they'll start to figure it out just a little bit here. Like, you kind of have to. This team is just so loaded when it comes to the offensive weapons that they do have. Drake London, heck of a player. You got Kyle Pitts, who has to get more involved. Bijan Robinson, I think, has the skill set to be a top 2-3 running back in the NFL. He can do it all. He can run between the tackles, outside, and he's good as a receiver as well. So I think it's going to come together. Maybe get the play action pass going just a little bit more to help them out, stretch the field downfield with those targets that they do have. I don't know if it comes tonight, but I think at some point this offense will bust out.
All right. Brian, you don't play fantasy football, but you should get into it next year.
I'm going to. I'm going to, because I feel like I have time. And it's a good game, and I have to give the NFL credit, for a fringe fan like myself, the way the production and how they present the game.
Yeah.
It is interesting. They do have a lot of stars. Their commentary and who they have, the personalities, I guess, that are talking about the game, they are engaging. So if I can get in your circle, or somebody's circle in here.
Well, there's lots of people who get you in the draft, so you can figure it out. Like, do we need like elementary? Like, will you do some homework so you understand the basic rules next year? Or
well, I'm assuming it's
like fantasy football 101 with Sean Brown.
It will probably be fantasy football 101. But can you not just put it on auto pick?
Should I just email? No. Should I just email Wendy the rules and then she can tell you?
How did you know that? It seems like everyone knows that all my success belongs to my wife, who I'm sure is just loving it.
419. Some really good questions regarding the Oilers training camp. The battles to discuss what you're looking for. We got a lot of good texts, 833-401-1440. We'll get to all of those as I sense the excitement slowly starting to ratchet up a little bit for the Oiler fans. It has been the shortest offseason you've ever endured, but because it was a Game 7 loss in the Stanley Cup final, I think there's an itch amongst Oiler fans just to get back, see what happens. The fact that the rookie team scored 1 goal and lost 3 games is probably like, okay, let's get to a preseason game and see a goal or two. So we'll get to all that when we return. Gregor, Brown, Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As always, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where tomorrow, 80 million, a new record, 80 million in Lotto Max. Get your tickets.
Rule number 116. In Waterton, walk with a lean. The wind will always prop you up. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
It's the final week of the Bricks famous tent sale, and everything must go. Take up to 70% off clearance items in the tent and store, and find amazing deals in every other department before it's too late. Take up to $1,400 off sectionals, up to 25% off bedroom dining furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Hurry in while the tents are still up and the prices are down. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
I couldn't ignore it. Everyone kept saying, "You look so tired."
Are you getting enough sleep, dear?
Hon, you look like you need some rest.
But I'm not tired. I guess I just look that way.
But you don't have to. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and I provide skin-refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance. Don't worry, we won't drastically change how you look, but we will help you look as energetic as you feel. Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
423. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hey, want to get this, and then we'll get to all of our hockey talk. Hey, fellas, just want to give you a note. I went to Fitted Golf because I'd heard it on the show. They increased my driver distance by 30% and have reduced my range of air. It's been amazing, from John. Well, there you go, John. Thanks for that. Good to hear. So if you're looking to help your game, they get you a new driver.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Well, they go through it's like a 2.5 hour. You're not going in there for 10 minutes, right,
Yeah.
to get fitted. It's you get fitted properly on anything,
yeah.
Right? Like Adam Oates still believes there's lots of hockey players who probably don't maximize and are getting the proper stick for themselves. I think it's improved a lot, but even now, I'm not sure there's that many places that really go into proper fitting for a stick.
I believe it. I mean, yeah, for sure.
You think how expensive they are?
Yeah.
Should probably have that.
Yeah. Most places, do they have a person qualified enough
Fair question.
to help you? But getting back to the golf, it's amazing how much I care about it when I play and think I should be Tiger Woods, and I barely play, and I've had no lessons, and my clubs are crap.
Yeah.
But yet I feel like I should go out there and have the course record. It's just mind-boggling to me how upset I get for the limited practice time I put into it.
I'll tell you the best advice I got. This, I don't know how 15 years ago. And I was like, I don't play enough. And we were playing, and I was duffed one and whatever. And finally goes, Gregor, you're not good enough to get mad.
Yeah.
And of course, your initial reaction is whatever.
That
and then as we were
hurts.
driving around, I was like, you know what? He's totally right. He goes, unless you're going to put in the stuff like practice and get lessons, then don't be upset. Like, what are you expecting?
Yeah.
And it changed my whole philosophy on my game.
Yeah.
And honestly, now if I shank one, it's like, well, geez, I haven't played very often. I played 7 times here in the last 3 weeks. And I've been for me, pounding the ball.
Yeah.
I'm hitting it straight. I had one little lesson from a buddy, just to work on my driver, and it changed everything because I was swinging too hard. And I didn't think I was swinging too hard. He says, you're swinging too hard in your backswing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So then he shows me, and he's like, you put it on video, right? And then he goes, just try this. And it made such a difference. And all of a sudden now, because I golfed my buddy Hutch, what's going on with you? You're hitting the fairway consistently. I'm like, I know. Now my iron game still, has lots of room to improve, but it's one element. I look at golf and I'm like, I believe now for people who can do it younger, good on you. But I don't have enough time right now to golf enough where I could be good or at least improve to the level I want to. But now my son and my wife play, so I have more opportunities.
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer, once I retire, I am I'll be golfing. It's good exercise. You walk, you don't cart it. I would golf 4 or 5 times a day, get a membership. It'd be way worth it because you're golfing it all the time.
Yeah.
And then I could be all right, let's get some lessons and let's see, if I could ever, the goal would be at one point to break 80.
Yeah.
See if that would ever be possible.
I just think any sport that you play, you want to be half decent. If you're not half decent at the sport, there's no way it's enjoyable. And I get it how, it's hey, how can you expect to be good if you don't put in the practice? But we all have an ego. We're all, motivated and competitive, right? I mean, it's funny. I've golfed a couple of times with my dad. He's hilarious. So he'll be his toes and he'll be pointing this way, knowing that the ball is either going to hook or fade, and he'll hit it. And then all of a sudden he'll get a hold of it and it'll go straight and he'll get all pissed off. I'd be like, you're facing there. What, you know what I mean? Get a lesson. Anyone that's that bad.
Yes, it's true. When you have to line up angrily to the left because your ball is going to slice big time to the right, you're right.
And then to get pissed off when you get a hold of it, something went wrong. Come on, get a lesson.
There are so many people listening right now that are laughing because that's themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
They know they do it.
Yeah.
They're just oh, yeah, wow. Because you look and say the price of a lesson is similar to a round of golf.
Yeah.
So they're go for a few lessons, make a big difference.
And it never fails. If you're playing 18, your last couple holes guaranteed. You're having but you're having a good shot.
Yes.
You're having a crappy day.
Yes.
Your last shot, you sizzle one right down the middle, and you're like, there's a chance.
Oh, yeah.
I got it.
It's weird how the 18th hole, all of a sudden, it's there's some golf voodoo out there. It's hey, this jabroni here is on hole 18 here. Oh, boom, right down the pipe. And you're just yeah, look at me. I can hit. Oh, yeah, it's the worst. But it's happened to many of us. So go to Fitted Golf, though. They'll help you out. Now, we had asked earlier about battles and what you're looking for in camp, etc. Hey, guys, I'm interested to see how the Janmark, Henrik, Brown line does and how much rope they get if the offense isn't there, if they're playing good shutdown hockey. Well, I'm not sold they're automatically going to be a line. I'm not, to me, Well, there's a few things at play. I think Adam Henrique and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins are going to switch at some time during the season because Adam Henrique is a better finisher. And so I think we might see that at times. And plus, Chris Knobloch, we've saw it. He likes to experiment and try different things just in case he needs them come playoff time, which makes sense. And then the other thing is, where does Podkolzin fit in? Because I can make an argument that if Matthias Janmark's your fourth line left winger in the regular season, doesn't matter. Because you know what you're going to get from him in playoff. He's shown for Vegas, Dallas, and Edmonton. He shows up. He knows how to play playoff hockey. It's been proven. So if you have somebody who's maybe a little bit more offensive, you're like, okay. And Janmark, you know what? He can play on our fourth line. Him and Brown are probably going to be your top penalty killing unit, I would think, this year. Although they don't have a faceoff guy, so that's why they maybe can't start it. That's the issue with them. So, we'll see. Maybe it's Henrique and Nugent-Hopkins. We'll find out. But they might start as a line. But I know Chris Knobloch. I think and you heard from Stan Bowman that says, hey, every year is different. So he might want to try a few different combinations this one. Hey, guys, it's Derek Ryan all the way. It's a Stanley Cup team. He's a veteran. He's the man to fit the bill from James when we were asking about the competition. Well, and you could be right. But do you think Derek Ryan's the guy come playoff time? Like, I don't think Derek Ryan and Corey Perry are going to be on your playoff roster come playoff time.
I would agree with you. I think, just based on their age and the fact that they are slowing down a little bit, right? And it's going to be a little bit of a grind. But when you talk about different line combinations, and absolutely there's, nothing obviously is going to be written in stone, and there's going to be injuries, and there's going to be opportunity where Knobloch is going to have to be able to move guys up and down the lineup. And that's the flexibility. I think that, and something that he has access to is he has the ability to move guys around throughout that lineup that bring different skill sets to different lines at different times. And I think that's important to make sure that you have that movement throughout your lineup, just to keep guys edgy, keep guys sharp, and to know that, there's no way other than probably the two most consistent guys are Draisaitl and McDavid. Most players go through ups and downs, and through those ups and downs, there has to be a little bit of movement and opportunity for other guys to kind of step in there. When they're finding their game. I think that, we talked about that a lot last year, that, that's important for guys to know that when they're playing well, they're going to get rewarded and recognized. And that's the sign of a healthy team.
Yes. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, Raphael Lavoie, to me, and maybe I'm blinded by his size and his shot, but I think he's got a possibility to be better than Connor Brown by the end of the year on your third line. Like, Connor Brown is a guaranteed every night NHL player. And I think everybody saw last year the difference between a player who's healthy and then a player who's recovering from a major surgery. I think it was obvious to anyone. Connor Brown he said he didn't have any explosiveness early in the season. Didn't have the pop. And I think we all saw it. Man, for Raphael, he's such a different player. He's a better shooter, but he's not Brown is quick and he's very smart. Like Connor Brown, his ability to knock down pucks, Brownie, and create turnovers is the thing that probably impressed me most. Like, he's dogging on the puck. So, he's a different player than Raphael Lavoie. I don't know if Lavoie can do the things that Brown does.
I think the key for Raphael Lavoie is, with his size, is below the goal line and along the boards, right? Where has his game come to a point now where it's one thing to be big, right? And he's got a skill set, but is his game to the point now where he's going to be strong enough, confident enough to hold pucks, keep pucks alive down low, and to make plays out of the corner? That to me, when watching him, the little stints that he had last year, that's kind of something that I would like, that you look to see in a big guy, right? Is how well he can protect the puck, how he can keep pucks alive, and then what can he do after, to continue on a play. I think if he can add that to his game with that size, I mean, there's room on any team for a guy that has that ability and that size and the skill set that he has. But Connor Brown, I mean, man, I don't like, his injury was his injury, but I'm telling you, the mental side of the game, when you're struggling and it kind of gets away from you a little bit, I think that's hard for anyone. I think that for sure his injury was a factor. But I think when you start overthinking and obviously it's hard to get away from the media and all the different outlets. I'm sure he started to hear about it. He started to feel it. You start gripping your stick. You start feeling, you start to lose your confidence a little bit. I think I'm amazed that he had, for him to play the way he did at the end of the season and the ability to stick to it with that type of season that he had is just a credit to the character of the type of person he is. But man, when things start to snowball, I think you can see, how bad it can get. But credit to him, he found something to build on and got his game and is obviously very valuable.
Yeah, and I'm always hesitant to say a prospect who's yet to do anything in the NHL is going to be better than a proven NHL player. And here's why. So Raphael Lavoie has played 3 seasons in the American League, 47 points, 45 points and 50 points are his best seasons. Now, maybe a little bit better of a shooter, but Connor Brown in his rookie AHL season, when he was 20 years of age, he had 61 points in 76 games. As a 20-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Then and in his first year in the NHL, 2 years later, he scored 20 goals in the NHL. Like, I'm sorry. Raphael Lavoie isn't Connor Brown. He's just not. Like, you might like him in the American League because he's got a big shot, but there's way more to the game than just a shot. And Connor Brown has scored 20 goals in the NHL twice. Right? As a 20-year-old in the American League, he had 21 goals and 61 points. So
what else happened to him was he got hurt with the start that they had, right? It made it tough for some of those guys that were kind of right there looking for an opportunity that would have maybe got some opportunity or some games. They started off so poorly. It was hard to do that. Right. So in fairness to him, it hasn't been, he could fall into the category or he falls into the category. I don't know if you know what you really have.
But I think you do. I think Brown.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, Brown just.
I know you have. I'm not down on Brown.
Yeah.
But I think I really do think there's something in Lavoie that I think that, he's young. He doesn't have as much experience, but.
No, I don't think, I'm not saying Lavoie can't be a player, but to suggest that he's going to be better than Connor Brown now is, to me, there's nothing other than hope backing up that statement is all I'm saying. Like, there's no tangible evidence. Like, is he quicker? Does he kill penalties? Right? Like, there's Connor Brown's game isn't just, the game isn't just scoring because neither one's going to be a top 6 forward.
Yeah.
So it's like, does he check well? Does he penalty kill? All those
that experience.
Lavoie definitely has a better shot. Brown, but that's just one element of the game. There's so many other elements that Brown does very well. He's quick. He's dogging on the puck, smart. So, yeah, if Raphael Lavoie could end up somehow having a career like Connor Brown has had, he'd be over the moon. Right? He'd be over the moon. Plus, he'd probably get a 1-year, $4 million deal. He'd be pretty happy about that too. So, we'll come back. We got 5 questions to get to. We got a few more texts. NFL injuries just as the show keeps going on, we just keep hearing more. If you missed it, there was Pacheco. Then there was Cooper Kupp. Now, Deebo Samuel. He's out multiple weeks with a calf strain. It is the hits just keep on coming in the NFL and the injury parade here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, as well as sports1440.ca.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here from Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton. In 100 meters, turn right. Actually, no. Turn left. There's some awesome new breakfast wraps at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah. There's the sausage, bacon, and egg, a crispy seasoned chicken one. A spicy and egg. Worth the detour.
They sound amazing.
Bet they taste amazing, too. Wish I had a mouth. Take your morning into a delicious new direction with McDonald's new breakfast wraps. Add a small premium roast coffee for $1 plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Sipping gin and juice, just trying to stay cool. And I'm sweating buckets bigger than a swimming pool. Cruise to Heritage Mall to enjoy some AC. Then my shorty hears the homies from Legacy. I say, listen, yo, where we gonna get the dough to pay Legacy from the radio? He says, Legacy Heating's got a deal that's the bomb with no interest or payments all year long. No money, no problems. That's the life that I choose. Chillaxing with thousands of BTU. Doing whatever the heck that was. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and the time to think about winterizing your RV is before the snow flies. There's a lot of steps you need to take to winterize your trailer or motorhome.
And you have to get every step right every single time. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob, because if you make even a little mistake, you might not realize it till spring. By then, it's too late to fix what you got wrong.
Hey, Rick, do you winterize your own trailer?
Not anymore, Bob. I hired people who are smarter than me. Genius technicians who check every component, dozens of systems to be maintained and protected. And today, we offer that service to you, starting at $99. Every winterization package comes with a full report in writing, so you know what to expect come spring. If you're confident to do it yourself, have at it. If you're like me and you'd rather have this done by somebody who knows what they're doing, then come to No Bull, and we'll take care of you.
And that's No Bull. NoBullRV.ca.
.440, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sean Brown. Lovely Monday afternoon. Text flying in 833-401-1440. Did you say Cup and Samuel are out? Are you joking? No, dude, I wouldn't make that up. Cal, I would not make that up. Yes. Cooper Kupp is out an extended period of time and is, quote, a candidate to be put on IR. Meanwhile, Deebo Samuel is out for multiple weeks with a calf strain. So McCaffrey's gone. Deebo Samuel's gone for the 49ers who lost over the weekend. And their injuries are piling up all over the place in the NFL. And then conversely, probably on your fantasy roster. So be prepared. Hey, guys, I think Lavoie is going to be a Shark by October 10th from Hammer. Yeah, well, see, there's a risk there. But if I'm the Edmonton owners, now they're going to have to put some players on waivers, right? Lane Peterson, James Hamlin. But keep in mind, Robbie Yarventi, Noah Philp don't need waivers. They're still waiver exempt. And Brownie, that plays a part in it when it comes to, the final cut, at least to start. Sometimes when it's your last year and you have a good candidate, you almost have to be like dominant better than the guy. Because if you're the Oilers, you don't want to lose Raphael Lavoie potentially. Not saying you will, but there's always a slight risk, right, when you do it. And then a week later, you have an injury. Now you're down another guy, right? That's always the challenge. So I can see how it plays a factor for organizations. Hey, guys, who replaces Fogle McLeod as the third set of penalty killers? Well, if you have Nugent, I would say Nugent Hopkins, well, depend whoever the fourth line center is, whether it's Derek Ryan or James Hamlin or Philp, right? Peterson, one of them is the other penalty killer. You have Brown and Janmark for sure. Podkolzin can penalty kill. So there, those are probably going to be the six. Now, the interesting one for me is when I watch the preseason games, does Raphael Lavoie get any penalty killing time? Because if he doesn't, his odds of making the team and being a contributor are much lower because you got to get ice time. You got to get opportunities, Brownie. You have to.
But I do recall, I think, having a conversation with someone in Bakersfield about the fact that they were giving him opportunities and him as a player. I mean, we've talked about it as well before. Like, you got to reinvent yourself too, right? You got to, the more areas that you can, or more value you can add in different dimensions to your game for this exact reason, right? If he's a smart player and a guy that wants to play in the NHL or figure out a role, I mean, you have to try and reinvent yourself and add that to your game. So I would only assume that when he was in Bakersfield, they would have put him in a ton of different situations just for that exact reason, to give him that opportunity for situations like this, so that, hey, it's not going to be new to him. And hopefully, he got some experience and, because that's very well could happen where they're going to put him in and be like, hey, what else can this guy do?
Yeah. I think you want the opportunity to find out whether or not you can do it.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's just how it's going to be. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick. Hey, are you up late watching the game? Don't worry. The Brick has to make sure you'll still get the best sleep possible with amazing deals on mattresses and furniture and beds right now. 60% off mattresses at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, question number 1. Start with some hockey here. Who is your preseason pick to win each of the NHL's divisions this year? Go ahead, Gregor.
Oh, Con's kind of early for, really getting on the prediction.
Preseason.
Each of the divisions. I have in the Metro, the Rangers. I have Dallas in the Central. I would have Edmonton in the Pacific and the Atlantic. Ooh, now that one's tough. I will go Florida.
I will go in the Atlantic. I will go Boston. And the Metro, I will go with the Rangers. The Central, Colorado, and the Pacific, Edmonton.
Question number 2. Do you guys like that Sidney Crosby signed the new deal, keeping him in Pittsburgh for the next few years at $8.7 million per year?
I think it's, good on him. It's amazing. A guy of that skill and what he means to the game. It just, it just seems like he left a little bit, but that just says something about him as a person, which is quite amazing. But I like the fact that it's 2 years, and I think at the end of the 2 years, I think Crosby will still have something in the tank, and I think as well that at the end of 2 years, I could see him being a guy like Ray Bourque, where he goes to another program, another organization that has a chance to win the cup, and he puts him over the top.
Maybe. Well, I've said all along, I thought it might have been better for him to leave, and I don't think it might be better for the organization. But they obviously feel different. I understand why he would feel that way. But if you're a depth player in Pittsburgh, man, you better come into camp and pick up your socks, because Crosby last year at 36 carried that team, and they didn't make the playoffs. Not because their top guy wasn't good, because their depth guys weren't good. So they're going to need better production from their depth guys this season.
Question number 3, coming off the bye week, what do you think is the most important message Coach Jackson needs to tell his team, that being the Edmonton Elks, as we lead to Saturday's game against the Bombers?
Don't change anything. You come in, you got a lot of confidence. I'd be like, fellas, let's just, I think honestly, they're going to be refreshed. We heard from Gino Lewis earlier. He says, man, it's just refreshing. You come into that, Winnipeg's just as rested. Both teams had the bye week. And you could look at the standings. I might not even say, I would just come in with a picture. I would put a big picture on the door. So every player who sees the standings, and I would circle where we are and just have a big arrow going up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd agree. The fact that you don't really want to change a whole lot. I think if anything, talking to them, it's the enthusiasm and the excitement and the belief that's in the dressing room that they all believe, is just making sure that there's still that belief after a bye week. Not that it would go away, but making sure that, the morale and everyone's mentally is where they need to be.
Question number 4, Carolina Panthers. Benching their former number 1 overall pick just from the 2023 draft, Bryce Young, in favor of Andy Dalton. Do you think this is a good move for the Panthers?
100%. He's his feet, like some of his technique right now is off. And if it was Dan Orlovsky who showed the footwork, and so you're making some mistakes. So the team's terrible. Relieve some pressure from him. Let him go and practice. Watch that, but make sure the message is, Bryce, we're doing this so you can be the quarterback we think you can be. And I get that your ego's there and you want to play. I understand all that. But then I would show him Sam Darnold, and I would show him Baker Mayfield, and I would show him all the other guys who it doesn't mean your career's over, right? I think benching has such a negative connotation. If I was the Panthers, I would have said, you know what? We want to develop our quarterback better. We haven't supported him enough, and that's what we're going to do. So put the onus on you, even if you don't believe it. That's what I would do as an organization. Say, we need to do a better job of working on some of the fundamental techniques for him to excel and master at his position. Done.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, now you're coaching, right? Now you're
Yes.
coaching, and the relationship part of coaching is obviously very important. And, you know, I think we all take it. I mean, who hasn't been in that situation where you've lost ice time and opportunity and been eventually out of the lineup? And it's, you know, it hurts. Any competitive guy, that would sting and it would bother you. But the most important thing, and I think in today's athlete, in today's game, is that communication piece, right? Is like, okay, why are you out? And there was a time where you necessarily didn't know a lot of the reasons why you were out. You were just out and no one talked to you.
Yeah.
Right. So now with the new athlete, I'm sure there's a lot of evidence and video and different things that kind of support the coach's decision. But you know, this is why coaches make the big money, and this is what coaching is all about.
And a final question for you guys. It was on this day in 1993 that Cheers spinoff Frasier aired. Frasier Crane, of course, goes to Seattle, hosts a radio show. Is there any character from a show that you really like that you think deserves a spinoff?
Gregor, these TV movie stuff, I need time.
Yeah. He sent you the question 3 hours ago.
I sent it at 1:30. Come on.
I gotta look at it. Somewhere on my phone, I
my
put
God.
something.
It's a tough question because I think it's hard. Like what was unique, like Fraser Crane in that show. Yeah, you know, he was there. He was a bit guy, but we didn't really we knew that he was kind of anal, but we didn't know that much about him, like as far as what he did, right? Like they never showed that. So when they spun it off, it was more about his character development. So I thought it was very well done. So you can't take like a good supporting character that's a main focal point of the show and then try to expand on his character because you already know it all. So you'd have to find one where you say, okay, this guy is in here, but we don't know that much about him. So there's not a lot of new comedies, to be honest, right? I think it might be harder in some dramas, but I was probably going to go, well, I don't even remember the guy's name, but if I was going to go with a comedy, and not Sheldon, not Raj, not those guys, but you know the other guy who ended up who owns a comic store. Right?
Yes,
and the kind of nerdy guy, that's a guy you could spin off because you don't really know that much about him other than he runs a store and he's kind of perceived as a loser.
Okay, well,
Stewart. There you go. For comedy, that was the one I was thinking.
I'm gonna go. My wife and I have been watching, and we've been watching Ozark.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you don't like Ozark?
I'm just. Hey, I'm always worried about you. You're gonna like anything that I watch.
Dude, just because we weren't on the same page for Brokeback Mountain, it's one show.
I'll
Man.
never
Get over
forget
it.
the look. It was the look that you gave me when I said it. You just kind of glanced over, and I'm like, okay, why?
okay,
What is up with that look? And
okay.
and you know what? You didn't even bail me out. No one bailed me out was the worst part. I can't barely see Collins, but no one bailed me out. I'm still disappointed in that. I'm new to the show, and I felt like I was on an island. I'm just sitting here with a bunch of new guys. I'm like, okay, I said something wrong.
I didn't know what you're. I was just like, oh, all right, to each his own. We don't judge here, Brownie.
Okay,
we don't judge about that stuff. We judge about a lot of things, but not that.
So I'll go Ozark. Seems to be accepted here, but I don't know. I mean, Jason Bateman seems to be, what is he, Marty?
Yeah, but he's the main character. How can he have a spinoff?
I don't know.
No. Like the spinoff would be like if when Ruth, right? If
Okay,
she kind of
yeah.
spun it off with her.
Oh, okay,
because
yeah,
Ruth
yeah.
would be the
Kinda
spin-off.
like, not like, what's the guy in Friends there?
Joey.
Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah, that one didn't. See, that like because but you knew Joey. Like we knew him like he was one of the main characters. So that's why those shows are hard to do. Like I think now, although Ruth was the way that show is, you could spin it off where she was a badass in another show.
Yeah,
And it would just continue
yeah.
with different characters.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But even Joey, I mean, Joey, I thought was good enough in Friends that it seemed to me he would have enough of a following to create his. Obviously, someone thought that.
Yeah.
Right. There's certain guys that have that. That about them.
Cons, what about you?
I could go for hours. Maybe not hours. All right. My top 3, I would like to see Creed from The Office because he's just like, you don't know much about him,
point.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
you barely know anything about
he's
him.
just psycho. I think he'd
Yeah.
be very funny and maybe like an HBO show. To continue on, and it's maybe the similar as like Ruth with Ozark, Jon Snow. And I know that I have been talking about doing that show. I don't know what's going to happen from Game of Thrones. And then one of my favorite shows is always Sons of Anarchy. So maybe like a backstory, the origin story of Tig. He's a psycho too. So those would be 3 that I think would stand out to me.
Okay. Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy, Brian?
I haven't. None of the shows he's talked about. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Really?
No.
So you're like the Connor Halley of TV.
Yeah. Kind of. Listen, I'm right now. I'm just happy that you watch and we have something in common with Ozark.
Oh.
What about I'll throw this out there. Virgin River.
I haven't seen that.
No?
No. Is that a romance?
It's like a romance.
Yeah.
That's our other one.
But I've
Hey,
learned
put it in there. Put it in.
Brownie, I've
About 10 o'clock. Works every time.
I've learned though that Brownie, secretly, you kind of like the romance shows a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm a sensitive guy. I got feelings. I'm not going to hide behind that.
I don't know if that's the reason why you like him, but I think I was born.
There's a strategy behind it.
Yeah, no, I understand it, but it's I just I kind of got that sense. Nothing wrong with a little bit of a romantic, right?
Yeah.
Like you watch some of those, like you're the guy if you're on your Instagram and you see those military families coming back, you start crying.
No, but I listen. When I'm watching TV, I don't want anything stressful. I just want to relax.
That's fair.
Right? I honestly, I
don't
just
you
want to get away and I want to relax and I eventually want to fall asleep.
How many episodes of Ozark have you watched?
Oh, quite a bit. I think I'm caught up pretty close to.
Oh, so you're near the end of it.
Oh yeah.
Because don't you ever find that there was a little bit of stress in that show? Because
to be honest with you, I watch it to fall asleep. My wife's into it, and usually it's something that we kind of fall asleep to. So half the time I'm in and out.
So then you don't
I'm
even
in and
know.
out.
You don't
I
even
couldn't.
watch- you don't
I
even
can't
know
even
what's
tell
going
you
on.
what's going on.
Wow.
I'm in and out.
Oh. Trying to think of what any other that I watched the show about the crazy ex.
The crazy ex.
Yeah, dude, you watch it's like a documentary, like real life stuff.
Oh,
that
I love
happened.
documentaries.
Dude.
They're
You
my
watched that
favorite.
one on
Really?
Netflix, right? Oh God, yeah.
We watched the first one Friday night.
Yeah.
That guy's psycho.
Dude, they are like, they're cuckoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
geez, that would scare me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having
Well,
a young daughter and that. I mean, who?
No,
Yeah,
but these
and
people
are
were,
nuts.
yes, but there was guys and girls,
Yeah.
right? Like there's some people where, well, yeah, and the thing is, they look back, there was always a few signs, right? And you're just
Yeah.
like, because I was probably like, I was the extreme end of the minute there was anything that I didn't like, I was out. So,
Oh, really?
Oh, God.
Scared.
No, not even scared, really.
You're
I was
scared. What are
no,
you scared of?
No, I wasn't necessarily scared, but I also knew I had no interest in wanting to get married early. So I didn't even date long because I was like, well, why do I want to date people long term if I'm not going to marry them? That makes no sense to me. So I'd be out. But there was little things I could look back, just little things where you're just like, yeah, I don't like that amount.
I have a buddy that's like that. He's quite picky.
No, I wasn't picky. I was just like, if you know what you want, then why settle? Because some people are the opposite. They just stay in a relationship because they're like, well, I don't want to be
Good
single.
on you. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Good on you.
And
for
it's
doing
not
that.
fair to the other person,
Yeah.
especially when you're younger. Like, see people.
So do you keep dating? Like, did you know when you were
No,
dating, like you didn't,
no,
there was something you didn't like about him, but you're like, oh, whatever, this is working for now.
No.
You got out right away.
No. Prior to my wife, I don't think I'd ever dated anyone longer than a year.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Which was great for me.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for
I
everyone.
didn't do a lot of dating.
No. Yeah, but you got married when you're 19.
No, I didn't.
I'm just joking. You're like 23.
I was
though.
young. Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when did you meet? 21?
No, We got married. Actually, yeah, we got married when I was 25.
Yeah, and you met at 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But Strutty said once, like when you were young, well, your buddy said when you were younger, you could barely wheel a tire down a hill.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Well, I do like how you met your wife, though. That's a great story. Yeah, come over to Dante's, and then you or no, where were you? You were at Dante's, and you're going to.
Where was I? No, I was at Rum Jungle.
Yeah,
was the spot. Rum Jungle was the spot. Yeah.
But didn't you meet her at Dante's and then said, "Come to Rum Jungle," and then you didn't put her on the guest list?
No, I met her. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
How do I remember how you met your wife more than you? Oh, Wendy and I.
That was an honest.
We had a really good laugh about it at my house party.
I made her work.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for setting me up for that epic fail too. Hey, come black and white party. I thought it'd be, I thought it was gonna be loose. I wear my brown. Who wears their own jersey to a party? Everyone's dressed up. I got my brown jersey on.
Well, I didn't say it's a black and white party. Like I know
you're like, oh, everyone's gonna be having fun.
Technically, you should have said I'm dressing up as myself, so I got the humor in it. But who wears a hockey jersey to a summer house party? Like you're just sweating bullets.
I was. That was a good time though. Hopefully,
like the next year, you're gonna probably wear like a hoodie.
So I'm getting invited again.
Well, we'll see. See if you make. They always say you should change your guest list every time. So we'll see. Wendy's in for sure.
There you go.
Wendy. You might have to babysit.
Yeah.
But Wendy's in for sure. Brownie, before we talk to you next week, who is your number one most interested player to watch in training camp and why? For the Edmonton Oilers.
Gee, well, I mean, there's so many guys that I want to see at training camp, and I want to see obviously some of the new defensemen that come in. I mean, every athlete that comes in the camp and has an opportunity, we all know what that feels like. So I'm interested, because there is a spot on the right side that the Oilers are eventually going to need or want. But I want to see, until that actually happens, how those guys take advantage of the situation that they're in. So any one of the new defensemen that are coming in, obviously Savoy, just being a local kid and just kind of watching his career from afar and just seeing how talented he is. I'm really excited that he has a chance to play for his, hometown team. And, he's got lots of upside. So I want to see, even though that he's young and we all feel like, he needs to spend time in the minors and more than likely will. It's tough, with good players and today's, in today's game, how well they train and how good they are. Can he skip a few steps? I'd be interested in to see. Probably not, but just I'd like to see how he does. I want to see how Brown does in training camp. I want to see how he does at the beginning of the season, just because he came off such a unique year. I mean, anyone that has that type of season and finishes off the way he did is just his mental game to me is something for all kids to kind of admire. He never shied away from anything. He took full responsibility, and the fact that he changed it, I want to see, now that he's healthy, coming off of a great season, where he's at, what can we expect from him? Does he, what type of player are we going to get? So I don't know. I don't know if there's one guy. I think there's so many guys, after a good season, that, I want to see, what the next season looks like.
Brownie, have a good one.
I will.
There you go. Connor Halley, some Detroit Red Wings news coming up big time here in a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice, where you stop in at Booster Juice right now. The secret smoothie menu is on. Smoothies too delicious to keep under wraps. Find out what they are when you download the Boosters Reward app today at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Yes, Jason, you just mentioned it. The Red Wings signing Lucas Raymond to an 8-year contract with an AAV of just over $8 million. The fourth overall pick back in 2020 and 72 points in 82 games last season in Detroit. And the Pittsburgh Penguins re-signing Sidney Crosby to a 2-year contract extension with an AAV of $8.7 million. In the Young Stars Classic from Penticton, the Oilers fell in their third straight game to the Jets 2-0. Carolina Panthers making a change at quarterback as first-year head coach Dave Canales benching Bryce Young in favor of Andy Dalton. Some other news and notes: 49ers telling the media today that Deebo Samuel has a calf strain. He'll miss a couple of weeks. For the Rams, Cooper Kupp, who left Sunday's game with the ankle injury, extended to land on the IR, as is safety John Johnson and starting guard Jonah Jackson. And in Kansas City, Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco expected to land on the IR after suffering a fibula injury on Sunday. The team is expected to bring in former Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt for a workout. And week 2 in the league wraps up tonight as the Eagles will host the Falcons. Kickoff set for 6:15 in that one. In the majors, you got the Mets and the Nationals, Dodgers, Braves, Cubs host the Athletics, the White Sox travel to Anaheim, and the Rockies host the Diamondbacks. In the top of the second right now, Twins and Guardians currently scoreless. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and coach of the Oilers Young Stars and Bakersfield Condors, Colin Chalk. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words.
Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time.
You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
It's the final week of the Bricks famous tent sale, and everything must go. Take up to 70% off clearance items in the tent and store, and find amazing deals in every other department before it's too late. Take up to $1,400 off sectionals, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Hurry in while the tents are still up and the prices are down. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey there, it's your friends from Toyota. We see you eyeing that Tundra, already picturing yourself hauling so much firewood that your chainsaw's hiding behind the shed. It's time to stop dreaming about that new Toyota and start driving one. Lease a 2024 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $154 weekly for 60 months at 4.99% with $6,299 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
.507. Welcome back. Monday afternoon on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Also, sports1440.ca. It is the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta. Keep the roads moving. So even if you lose, you kind of win. PlayAlberta.ca, where you could win $80 million tomorrow. Lotto Max. Highest ever. Woo-hoo, good luck. Good luck. Man, it has been, you needed some positivity for Red Wings fans. Lucas Raymond gets that 8-year deal, a salary cap just over $8 million. But if you missed it, Cooper Kupp is out, Pacheco is out, Deebo Samuel is out, multiple weeks minimum. Pacheco could be out 6 to 8 weeks. Cooper Kupp, they don't know. It's been some big names injured early on in the NFL season. It's crazy how many injuries there are to key players in that league all the time. Like, think about it. Brown's not playing tonight. Tua's already out. Higgins hasn't played a game yet. Addison's hurt. Walker the third's already banged up. Like, not to mention, like, LA is, what are they, down like 3 starting offensive linemen? Their 2 best receivers now. Oh, God. And they're 0-2. So if you're a Rams fan, injuries might make this a really long season for you. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. And hey, you know what? Nothing slows them down. They keep rolling and they're hiring. So if you're looking for a change, you got experience, or maybe you're just a newbie, they got all sorts of job openings. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction as Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, let's start with the Red Wings and Sidney Crosby, I guess, too. Crosby, 2-year deal in Pittsburgh, $8.7 million. Lucas Raymond signs for just over $8 million for an 8-year deal in Detroit. What do you make of the 2 contracts?
Sidney Crosby's making just a little bit more than Lucas Raymond. I'm not sure what to make of that, pal. I'm not, from a player standpoint, Jason, like, this is another one of those ones where I think if it was my son, what would I tell him? If I'm a young player and they want to throw 8 years at me at $8 million, take the security. That's a $67 million payday or whatever that contract is. His set for life financially. You got to do that. I don't love it from the team standpoint, Jay. I don't love what I've seen in Ottawa with those guys who got the long-term deals in Buffalo, now in Detroit. I'm not sure that all young players handle an 8-year deal as well as we'd like them to. I'm not sure it doesn't take a little fire away from some of them. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if it takes fire away. I just think sometimes, teams are expecting guys to always just keep improving. And that's not always the case, right? Like, I think people remember the long extensions that work out and they're like, sign them long-term because they're all going to overachieve. Well, they don't. That's just fact. So I like Lucas Raymond. He's their best young forward. So he'll get every opportunity to succeed there. And he's had pretty good numbers. So I think that contract, like, I don't know if he's going to, blow it out of the water, but I think he'll be a pretty solid player. The problem is, for a lot of teams, like, you get good players, but then there's the McDavids and the Matthews and the Dreisaitl's. And if you don't get one of those guys, it's kind of hard to really win ultimately.
Well, it is. And I mean, I get how, if your team plays your best player, gives your best player an $8 million deal or an 8-year deal, and my team gives it to my guy, but your best guy is McDavid and my best guy is Raymond, that doesn't mean that it doesn't always square, right? Doesn't always square. Again, I just think we've seen some of these long-term deals going on that where very few of them turn into Leon Draisaitl.
Oh, right? Yes.
Very, very, very few where the team says we won. I mean, hell, look at the Oilers. Remember when didn't Craig McTavish sign Hall, Eberle, and Nugent Hopkins to 7-year deals? Right?
Yeah, 6 or 7. Yeah, 7-year deal for you're right.
They were 7. I mean, back in those days, they were really long-term deals. And in the end, I think we thought that probably one of them was good and the others weren't so great for the team. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. All I know is this: you better have a guy that doesn't, that doesn't have an ounce of Dustin Penner in him, where he says, "Oh well, I got a huge payday for the next 8 years, so I don't have to try as hard." If you're giving that contract to a kid, boy, you better pick the right guy to give it to.
Yeah, that's fair. Looking at the Penguins, though, like, do you think they're good enough to, like, I look at last year, they couldn't make the playoffs last year when there was a lot of meh teams. Like, Washington improved immensely, and they were still better than the Penguins last season. I look at, now the Islanders have some injuries. Sorokin, is back, had back surgery in the offseason, so he's probably not going to be able to start the season. So I wonder what that means to them. But I wonder if the Penguins, when you look around and other teams made deals, Penguins really haven't made many big splashes. Are they any better?
I don't know. Are they any faster? To me, the Penguins, having certainly been in the building for every Oilers-Penguins game in the last 3 or 4 years, Edmonton skates them into the ground. Now Edmonton slowed down a bit, so maybe that changes this year. But to my eye, that team was too slow to win. Too slow and too old now. Like, their best guys are way past their prime. Yeah, Crosby's still a wicked good player. Don't get me wrong. He's awesome. But, they've got a ton of money committed to Carlson. He's okay. Malkin's, when he shows up, he's still a good player, but that's less and less. Letang's had a lot of injury issues, and I don't know. I'm not so sure I see the next wave in Pittsburgh, Jay. I'm not sure I see the guys that are going to take the ice time away from those aging guys. So if you told me I had to put $100 bill on the table right now, if they're going to make the playoffs or not, my answer would probably be no. I'm not loving their goaltending either. Who's their starter there?
Tristan Jarry.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking they were going to upgrade on Tristan Jarry, and they haven't.
Yeah, well, their defense. I know that they're putting a lot of hope in, like, Ricard Raquel bouncing back, and how much better can Brian Rust be, and I think that's the problem in Pittsburgh. So we'll see.
Those aren't young guys either, right?
No,
they
not at
got
all.
A lot of money on old players, and I know Edmonton's the oldest team in the league, and because they got a couple of 40-year-olds, but Edmonton's got the guys that they need to count on aren't old. The guys that Pittsburgh needs to count on are old.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. The Oilers' young guns, kind of as expected. Spec wasn't a great showing. Effort sure is all there. They just didn't have a lot of skill. Only scored the 1 goal. I wasn't expecting much from that. Although I guess Corbeil, hey, he's fighting 3 times. He's trying to make a name for himself as a young kid, and on a Medicine Hat Tigers team. Which, by the way, if anybody watches the WHL, the Tigers are going to be loaded. I think they got like 14 or 15 of their guys going away to NHL camp spec. And then they got like 5 other guys who are too young to go to NHL camps, like McKenna and others. I'm just like, almost our whole team, like, they are good. They're
good. You better catch them early in the season while all those guys are still gone. Now, Corbeil is undrafted, correct?
Yeah, 18 years of age. Yeah.
Oh, he's
and
18.
He could be, no, he's 18 now. He could be signed before the start of the season as a free agent. And then if not, then he can't be signed during the season. And then he goes, because he's still got, he's draft eligible. He's a 2006, right? Like, this was technically his first year to be drafted. And lots of guys don't get drafted now, their first year. And so, he could easily get drafted next year. It would be his 18-year-old year, but he'd be turning 19 in March.
Yeah, well, you got to, I remember Craig McTavish used to say, you got to do something. You got to make the coach say, this guy, I know that if I need something done, this guy can do it. And I'm not sure there's a place for guys who, a lot of places for fighters anymore, frankly, as much as I enjoy a good scrap. But you got to give the kid credit. He goes to this Young Stars thing. He hasn't been drafted. He's a free agent. Everybody's talking about him, right? Everyone's going to be looking at him when they go into Medicine Hat this year. And, he's got to prove he can play. Like, you can't just fight anymore. We all know that. But what fighting's done for him is we're talking about him on the radio, and everybody in Penticton's talking about him. And all the scouts that roll through the hat now are going to say, oh, that's that Corbeil. Let's watch his game. So I hope for his sake that he can find enough game that someone's going to believe in him.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing to get noticed. Spec, what is and I asked Brownie this, You only get one. Who is the one player you are intrigued to watch the most in preseason and training camp for Edmonton, and why?
One player in Edmonton most intrigued to watch. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think of a younger guy that I'd love to see stake a claim or make a spot. I guess I have to say to you, it's got to be Emberson, because for a lot of reasons. I don't know anything about him. So I got to fast forward my knowledge curve on this guy. That's the first thing. There's a fairly important job there if he can grab it. They'd love for him to take that job next to Nurse. I'm not telling you he's gonna. I'm not telling you he's ready, because I haven't seen the kid play. So I'm not vouching for him. But I know the organization would love to come out the other end of this training camp and say, hey, that Ty Emberson looks so good. He's going to start the season as our second pairing guy. So, yeah, that's my guy. I'm very intrigued to see if a guy who's played 30 games in a league can take as big a leap as the Oilers hope he's going to take. What about you? Who's your guy?
Yeah, that's a fair one. Well, mine is Podkolzin would be number one.
Okay.
Just because I heard from people in Vancouver say his defensive game's fine. It's that when he was on the ice, he got to the point where he didn't do anything offensively. Like, he was ultra safe, which is kind of the opposite of a guy with some offensive pedigree. Usually, like, he needs a map to get in his own zone. Well, that wasn't the case. So, what does a change of scenery do for him? Maybe score a goal or two in preseason. We know what confidence does to any player. That's just a fact. So Podkolzin's one for me to watch because, I'm a former first-round pick, and lots of guys like that have went to a new location and get a new lease on life. I'm not saying he's suddenly going to be a star by any stretch of the imagination, but, what can he do for that? And then the other guy who's a complete wild card for me is Noah Philp. He's 6'3". He's a 200-pound centerman who's good on the penalty kill. He's decent in the face-off circle, smart player. And I think it's the one position that has the most potential to have a change of incumbent would be the fourth line center spot. So he's an intriguing one for me. I think that if I was asking one race spec, that's the race I'm most important to watch. Derek Ryan, Lane Peterson, James Hamlin, Noah Philp. Right? Who can win that battle?
I think that I'm with you there. I mean, listen, how old is Derek Ryan? Is he 30 what?
He turns 38 in December.
38. That's what I had. So he's 37, going to turn 38. So I'm not telling you can't play. You can play. But if you're looking at the GM's whiteboard, the 38-year-old fourth line center who doesn't skate that great anymore is the guy you're going, who's taking this job? Who's my next fourth line center? So you're right. Like, maybe Ryan hangs on to this job for a while. I'm not telling you can't, but I am telling you he ain't going to do it for long. You got to get a little bit younger there. You got to get quicker there. It wouldn't hurt getting bigger there. He's a cerebral player, and you don't just walk in and be Derek Ryan. I think we all know that. He does a lot of things for you. But Noah Philp is a guy. He's got better size. He skates better. He's younger. But right? He doesn't have any experience and doesn't have any guile, and he's never killed an NHL penalty, and all the stuff that Ryan has, Philp's got to go out and find somewhere.
Yeah. And that's why experience, it's hard to do. And, Edmonton, could they get by with a little youthful inexperience in the fourth line center? Probably. Will they? I don't know. But you got to earn it. That's the thing. James Hamlin's back. He's younger, but he's 31 games NHL experience. Yep. Lane Peterson has 71. He's 27 years of age. So that's why that to me is the interesting one. And I'm more curious to see how many games those guys play early, because the Oilers, I can't remember the last time they've ever finished with both of their last two preseason games on the road. Because usually McDavid never plays on the road in preseason.
Yeah,
it's probably going to have to change this year because their last two games, and usually one of them, definitely him and Draisaitl playing.
Yeah, they're taking their. I'm told that they're taking their, whatever's left of their team out to Seattle at that point.
Yeah,
and they're going to play in Seattle, and then they've got a day. They're going to do a team event in Vancouver. The whole team, every vet, and all the important guys. And then I think that last lineup in Vancouver will be a very, very much a veteran lineup. I bet you right now McDavid's playing in Vancouver in that game. So give them a home game early in the season, like maybe that one against Calgary where they go back, where there's a game in Calgary, right? And in Edmonton the same night. That's 2 games he'll play. And I remember him telling me one time, he says, I got to have 2 games, and I like, I'll figure out if I need a third.
Yeah.
Right. That's how Connor McDavid approaches his preseason, or at least that's how he did a couple of years ago when I asked him. So I bet you he plays against Calgary. I'm damn sure he'll play in Vancouver. And does he get another game in, Jake? That's going to be up to Connor.
Spec, good luck at the, we'll see you at the golf course tomorrow. Have a good one.
Are you playing tomorrow or no? You got a show.
I got a show, but I'll be coming for dinner.
Oh, can't miss dinner.
No,
All right, Jay, see you tomorrow, man.
All right, buddy. There you go. That's Mark Specker in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we return, Colin Chalk will join us, the Condors head coach. Next, the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Number 37. Elk Island mosquitoes don't believe in personal space. Keep bug spray ready at all times. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at Chevrolet. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Silverado 1500 RST. Explore downtown hotspots with standard Chevrolet safety assist, including automatic emergency braking and HD surround vision camera. Or take on the great outdoors with an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine and available in-vehicle trailering app. Oh, look, a cute chipmunk. Not so cute. Not so cute. Ask your Chevrolet dealer for details.
It all began in 2006.
Edmonton's premier live music and party venue was born.
Well, guess what? We're now legal age.
On the Rocks is turning 18.
Party with us Friday night
as we celebrate our 18th birthday.
Happy birthday!
Enjoy Sound Station.
Live music from the Arcana King.
And a chance to win $500 cash.
Thank you for an amazing 18 years.
On the Rocks.
OTR's 18th birthday Friday night.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118.
Hey there, it's your friends from Toyota. We see you pining over that RAV4 at the light. And guess what? The light's been green for a while now. It's time to stop dreaming about that new Toyota and start driving one. Lease a 2024 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $96 weekly for 60 months at 6.29% with $3,999 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Before every big interview, every big presentation, every big moment, I've always looked in the mirror and put on my game face. But lately, my eyes look tired, my brow looks old, and I'm starting to think it's game over.
Stop thinking and start seeing me, Dr. Vance Elliott, for skin refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance.
He didn't make me look weird. No, he gave me back my game face.
Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at Chevrolet. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Silverado 1500 RST. Explore downtown hotspots with standard Chevrolet safety assist, including automatic emergency braking and HD surround vision camera. Or take on the great outdoors with an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine and available in-vehicle trailering app. Oh, look, a cute chipmunk. Not so cute. Not so cute. Ask your Chevrolet dealer for details.
Little sandstorm for you on a Monday afternoon. Welcome back. It is Monday Night Football. Getting all the game. Over, under. Picking the Eagles straight out. Maybe the Falcons to cover. You can do it all at playalberta.ca and also get your tickets for tomorrow's $80 million Lotto Max. Good luck at playalberta.ca. As we're going to go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical. And just a polite reminder, you want to take action with your savings. Best way to do it. If you're looking for solar on your house or on your business, they can help you. Get great prices, great service. ActionElectrical.net. And we are joined by the head coach of the Bakersfield Condors. Of course, was the head coach behind the bench this past weekend, and I guess even earlier today for the rookie camp roster. Colin Chalk joins us once again. Coach, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Well, Colin, I guess kind of take us through your expectations as a coach. You know, you get a group together. Lots of guys never really played together and stuff like that. And kind of what's the goal? What's the expectation of a coach when you coach in a tournament like this?
You know, first off, you want to make sure that the players are playing hard and, you know, give them a little bit of structure. You know, we gave them a few handful of things to focus on. Didn't like our start in game one, although Vancouver's roster had an abundance of experienced players. But what I did like is that we responded and we had a competitive first game. And then from there, we added a few layers and they were able to get a little bit better each game. As we all know, we didn't love the result as far as wins versus losses, but they were able to get a little bit better. And I think overall everyone was they saw what they needed to see and they were happy with all the experiences they went through.
Your first opportunity to see Matt Savoy up close and personal. What'd you come away with?
He's definitely an explosive player who can make offensive plays. You know, and he was the one who had a great stick on the forecheck and set up, you know, the game's first goal versus Calgary. You know, he had multiple scoring chances. He set up multiple guys, and unfortunately, it was just one of those weekends where we were around the net, we were at the net, we covered lots of pucks and rebounds. Unfortunately, we couldn't finish. So something that we worked on Sunday, you know, just finishing the chance of staying on pucks, and you know, it was nice to see that happen in practice. You know, but you know, I'm sure he would like to finish a little bit more around the net and have other players finish plays that he set up, but. He definitely provided some offense for us.
Colin, when you head into to training camp, and it's unique as an AHL coach because you have a semblance of some of the players you're going to have, but you don't really know your roster. Now it's a little bit different this year. Edmonton's got a pretty veteran laden one. So when you get to to the Oilers camp and then kind of waiting for yours to start, what's the process as a coach here over the next few weeks?
So for us, we have two new staff members, Adam Krug and Kelly Gard, and for these 2 weeks will be really great for them to acclimate them on just how the organization works. So you know, from that aspect and that standpoint, that's exciting for them. From our American League staff, it will get them set up on our day-to-day routine, which they saw a little bit today, but we didn't give them a full-fledged, essentially how the day-to-day is and how we work. So we'll be able to go through and slowly go through what our post-game is, what our pre-game is, what our normal routine looks, all those sorts of things, get them set up and any questions that they may have, get ourselves ready for our training camp. And then lastly, be a support system for whatever Chris Knobloch and the Oilers staff needs throughout our time over the next few weeks. We're excited to do that.
So kind of when you bring new coaches in, Colin, how you talk to them, they obviously kind of got to know you. You want to get to know them as a person first. Then when do you get into kind of the coaching philosophies? How does that work when you integrate new guys into your coaching room?
Well, we show them, and then through lots of use of video is how we do things, why we do things, and then we ask them what they think and how they've done things in their past places. So that helps them understand the why. I think when they come in these rookie tournaments, you get in a few days and it's 3 games and 4 nights and travel, and it's really kind of they get thrown in the fire. But we're just giving bits and pieces to them and to the players. So we definitely have them their main focus this weekend and in these 2 weeks. Aside from getting acclimated with myself, Chris Horn, and Keith McCambridge, is getting to know the training staff, getting to know our staff on a personal level, but then also watching the players and getting to know them on a personal level too. So, and it's a different optic, as you know, from when you're up high instead of when you're on ice level. So, them getting acclimated with the players and starting to build that personal relationship is really, really vital.
When you look at the goalie position specifically for a coach, Colin, because, lots of the head coaches, the goalie position is the hardest one, I think, to understand for a lot of people. You can kind of have it, but there's the technique stuff and all that. Is that a relationship where you got to be quicker to form a relationship with guard? Not that the other coaches don't matter, but that the goalie coach is kind of so unique and different?
Yeah, it's interesting that, generally on your team, you have 2 guys, right, as far as 2 goaltenders, right, and then you have 1 goalie coach. So they're, we call it the goalie union, and we joke about it, but you want to be really clear with your goalie coach what a good goal is, what a bad goal is, right, and you want to be on the same page on what an A, just for layman's terms, what an A, B, and C scoring chance is a game. So those are areas that we go through with the interview process, and Dustin Swartz was very helpful in going through helping select that process. But I say, is it any more important to have a relationship with the goalie coach? I think all relationships are important, to your point, and then also allowing guys to do their job and allow them to do what they're hired for. So lean heavily on him to build that relationship with the goaltenders. But then also be that feel good guy with the other players and other staff members as well. So I think Kelly's been an excellent fit this far.
Colin Chalk joins us. Colin Maxwater, you saw him last year, first year in the American League, and by all intents and purposes, he had a really productive season, improved. By the end of the year, you were playing, I think, close to 20 minutes a night. It doesn't mean that, like, not all players naturally progress, right? You hope they do, and you want them to, and he's a really raw talent, and you think he's going to be. So when you look at Max specifically for this year, where do you want to see the growth in his game?
For Max, we'd like him to continue being a hard player to play against, because I think the Edmonton Oilers would be happy for someone who has a good stick and physical, block shots, clears it from the net, and those are things that he did really well, especially in the second half of the season. We'd like him to continue to defend. We led our team in plus minus last year for a young 20-year-old defenseman. It's difficult to do. Areas we'd like to see be a little bit better is move the puck a little bit quicker to the forwards. And not that he didn't move the puck to the forwards, but he did. But we'd like him to add another layer to that, is find a forward if he can with speed. Right. So if you could find a forward with speed through the neutral zone, that will help us get some more controlled entries. I think if he focuses on that and continues his physical play, it's hard to go against a 26, 27-year-old grown man and be physical against him. He did that, and he needs to continue to be confident that he can keep that layer in his game. But I would say that would be something that Keith McCambridge, I know, speaks with him daily. Finding a forward speed, moving pucks quickly, and making clean plays in that area.
When you look at, and those are, because you can't work on everything one year, right? But that's a pretty good foundation to look at for him. And so when you're watching these first these days of training camp, Colin, as a coach, and you're watching them in play, do you talk to guys afterwards? How does that relationship work, right? Or do you just kind of stay away? How does that work as far as maybe player communication, especially for the guys that you coached last season?
Yeah, like guys that I have a prior relationship with, it's loose and and it's from an area of confidence and positivity. So, they have a good day at camp, and they look at, I won't seek the player out, but if I run past them or walk past them, I'll definitely give them a vote of confidence and let them know that he looked really good out there. As far as summertime communication, like you're communicating with the players, just to check in on them. But right now, they're all trying to make the Edmonton Oilers, and we all know that, like you said, there's limited spots and there's a veteran laden team. But I don't want to cloud their mindset, and especially like new players coming into the organization, like a Connor Carrick, players that I don't know. I'm not calling them all summer long, because if I'm him, I don't want to hear from the American League coach. And what I don't know is I don't know how he's going to look in camp. We don't know how all things are going to shake out. So, you have to allow the NHL coaches and management and that to go through that process. And then if he ends up with us, then that relationship process starts. So I would say, but someone like Cam Dineen, I have coached Cam for a year and a half. We have a prior relationship, and there's nothing that would cloud his judgment or his reasoning for the communication, because we've already established that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. So now I'm going to ask you to put on a little bit of a, because I think one great battle is going to be the fourth line center spot in Edmonton. There's Derek Ryan. Then there's some players that you know very well: James Hamlin, Lane Peterson, and Noah Philp, who's coming back. So I'd like to get, if your scouting report first, the things you like about James Hamlin. He played 31 NHL games last year, and the growth of his game. And if you're giving me a scouting report on why James Hamlin could make the Oilers.
He's always in the right spot. Always. He's always where he needs to be. And he's not the biggest guy, not the fastest guy. Doesn't have the strongest shot, but he's always in the right spot. And he's managed a way to score 20 goals in the American League, not playing any power play. He embraces his role. He knows the systems. And he's a great teammate, so that's James Hamlin for you. He's always in the right spot.
Lane Peterson, who Oiler fans haven't seen, he's got 71 NHL games experience so far. What makes him a legit candidate for that role?
Well, right shot. I guess no difference would be James would be a left shot, right? So right shot centerman. A little bit more offense, a little bit more flashier as far as skill set and that kind of stuff. He can definitely have scoring ability. He has, last year, the year before, he had 17 goals in 18 games in the American Hockey League. He was 20-goal scorer, us in Bakersfield, more of a power play guy. So, depending on the makeup of what the big club wants, if they'd like some more scoring, or they want a right shot versus a left shot, I think a little bit larger in stature. But as far as, defensive awareness and that kind of stuff, definitely knows how to play the game, knows where to be. But I would say a little more offensive flair based on previous history.
And lastly, Noah Philp, who you saw 2 years ago. Then, of course, he took last year off. He's not coming off a physical injury, so I think it's not like he has to play catch up in that regard. But, man, he seemed to take a lot of strides, Colin, 2 years ago in that second half. What is it about Philp that's so intriguing that makes him a candidate?
Yeah, Noah is I believe it was 19 goals in his rookie year. It was a little slow out of the gate, like any young player is. Once we had some good conversations and understood what he needed to do, we solidified him at the center position. He had a great rookie season. We didn't play last year for some personal reasons. So I think for Noah, good stick, penalty killer, tough. Different from Peterson and Hamlin, and he can fight, and he's got a little bit of snarl to his game. He has, I wouldn't say explosive and sneaky speed like Hamlin. He kind of darts in the spots, but Noah's more build speed, underneath speed, and that tall, lanky kind of frame. Different from Lane and different from James. So. But I think the one thing is I don't want to say against him, but we got to see him in camp. We got to see him in camp. We got to see him in management coaches decide to put him in exhibition games, you got to see how he does. I mean, you have to evaluate him on a daily basis. That if we're talking a year ago, scoring 19 goals coming into camp, but he was a guy who took big face-off for us, not last season, the season before, scored nearly 20 goals, played in all scenarios, and was an impactful player, and you could feel it on the bench, like watching, it was coming, but I think the intangible is we got to see what kind of camp he has.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. That's the one thing maybe is, how did that year off impact him? The fact that it wasn't physical, I think, is a good thing. So he should come in physically ready to go. It's going to be a great camp. Colin, as always, we really appreciate your time and especially your great scouting report on the players. Thanks so much for this. We'll see you at the rink.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me on. Always great to chat, Jason.
There you go. That's Colin Chalk, head coach of the Bakersfield Condors. Unreal breakdowns on his players. That's awesome. Now we kind of know exactly what you're looking for. James Hamlin, Lane Peterson, Noah Philp. They all got different attributes. Right now, Peterson and Philp are both right shots. James Hamlin's a left shot. James Hamlin's played 31 NHL games for the Oilers organization. People know him. That's an advantage for sure. Now, Lane Peterson has played 71 NHL games, a little bit more offensive role. So James Hamlin, does he have an advantage because he's a little bit more defensive minded? Probably, but he's a lefty. Then Noah Philp has the advantage in size and toughness. Different types of skaters, right? How he said Hamlin's quick, more of a darter, whereas a little bit maybe more of a big engine getting going for Noah Philp. And so that's what's fascinating to watch for, to see which guy in a short period of time, and that's what's so hard, and ruthless is probably too strong of a word, but it's training camp isn't very long. You don't get a huge amount of opportunities for some of these players. You're talking maybe 3 games, a few practices, and practice, it's not like guys are running each other in practice. So it's kind of difficult at times. Like if you're a defensive player, you're trying to shut down a guy, but you don't want to be too physical on him. How do you show that in scrimmages? It's difficult. So that to me is always what makes it hard if you're a young guy to get noticed. And that's why those games, man, you might only get 12 minutes, 13 minutes a night. You've got to be ready to go. It's just that realistic that you're not going to get many options. So look forward to it. Quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up on a busy Monday. You can always text us in our eWell inbox, 833-401-1440. It's 833-401-1440. eWell, your partner in power since 1976.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
It's the final week of the Bricks famous tent sale, and everything must go. Take up to 70% off clearance items in the tent and store, and find amazing deals in every other department before it's too late. Take up to $1,400 off sectionals, up to 25% off bedroom dining furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Hurry in while the tents are still up and the prices are down. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Diablo Boots in Canada West. 2 great names in work and cowboy boots. For over 60 years, Diablo has been selling the best-made Canadian boots. Diablo has boots from sizes 6E to size 15 EE, just for you. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing, when Diablo has the best quality for less, made in Canada? Diablo has work and cowboy boots with replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So, save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save On Foods. Hurry in today for best selection.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And when it comes to value, nothing beats an employee price. For a limited time, pay what Ford employees paid during the factory-authorized employee pricing event. You'll see real invoice pricing, and you know you'll get the best deal guaranteed. It's Ford employee pricing on for a limited time where cars always cost less. Denham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Cars cost less in Wetaskiwin.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and the time to think about winterizing your RV is before the snow flies. There's a lot of steps you need to take to winterize your trailer or motorhome.
And you have to get every step right every single time. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob, because if you make even a little mistake, you might not realize it till spring. By then, it's too late to fix what you got wrong.
Hey, Rick, do you winterize your own trailer?
Not anymore, Bob. I hired people who are smarter than me. Genius technicians who check every component. Dozens of systems to be maintained and protected. And today, we offer that service to you, starting at $99. Every winterization package comes with a full report in writing, so you know what to expect come spring. If you're confident to do it yourself, have at it. If you're like me and you'd rather have this done by somebody who knows what they're doing, then come to No Bull, and we'll take care of you.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
$5:49. Welcome back, Gregor. Connor Halley with you. Just an update. We got a lot of texts coming in. So here's the players who are injured now: Christian McCaffrey, Isaiah Pacheco, Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp, Rasheem Mostert, Deontay Johnson, Evan Engram, Tua Tagovailoa, and Deontay Johnson. Not to mention guys like T. Higgins, who hasn't played, Addison, who's injured. Like, it is a long list, my man. Long list. So hopefully not many of those guys are on your team. So, and the list is probably going to keep growing. It's just how it works. Just how it works. Hey, guys, are you concerned at all that the Oilers don't have a lot of depth in case they run into injuries? Well, I guess it's a fair question, Daniel. It all depends, because not every injury is created equal. Who are the players getting hurt? If it's your starting goaltender, well, yeah, that's very different than if it's your backup. Is it your first line center in Connor McDavid, or is it your fourth line center? So which ones? Obviously, if it's top of the roster injuries, yeah, it's a big concern. But in a salary cap era, how can you protect yourself against that? Especially if it's long term. But if it's a short term injury, then you hope you have a good enough team that can get you a few breaks here and there. And away you go. So we'll see. A few other texts line in, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, are any of the training camp sessions open to the public? Yes, Sunday. But that's not training. It's not training camp, really. That's they'll have a morning skate that day. There will have some skates for the players not playing. It's fan day. There's autographs. There's a locker room sale. It's all combined in one, and it's Sunday. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, my understanding, I'll double check, but my understanding is Thursday, Friday, Saturday is not open to the public. It's just they'll have an on-ice session in the morning, and then another one usually right after. They kind of go back to back. I think the first guys are on from like 9 until like 11 with a flood in between, and then the next guys come on. And then who is ever the first group on Wednesday is usually the second group on Thursday, and then they'll go back to being the first group. Not always, but usually they like to rotate the times just because, you have different players in different groups, and you mix it up and away you go. So, and then there are some guys that they bring to camp to skate around, but they're kind of extras, to put it mildly. And then so they'll skate usually on the other ice surface a little bit later on. So that's usually how it works for training camp, and then preseason gets going right away. And then with their preseasons get pretty busy the first week. It'll be fairly hectic, right? Because they're playing Sunday, and then they play again on 2 games on the Monday. Then they play Winnipeg again on Wednesday in Winnipeg. Then they have Seattle at home. Actually, that game's now on the Saturday, the 28th. So it's not the 27th. So it's 28th Saturday. And then they have Vancouver at home on the 30th of September. And then they wrap up. They have the 2 games on the road in Seattle and then in Vancouver on the 2nd and the 4th. They'll finish that up. And then they have 4 days before the regular season begins. So cuts will likely be on the Sunday. It's usually when it is. Maybe Monday. Then away you go. And they have a 4-game homestand to start the regular season. Actually, 6 of their first 8 are at home. So you'll get a good dose. And you know what the orders? They really want to get a good start. You got Winnipeg, then Chicago and Calgary back-to-back on a Saturday and a Sunday. Then the Flyers. Then they're into Nashville and Dallas, 2-game short trip. And then they're home to Carolina and Pittsburgh before they end on the road the rest of the month. But 6 out of their first 8 at home. So an opportunity to get a good start for the Edmonton Oilers. On behalf of Connor Halley, Sean Brown, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Thanks as always for watching. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Get in on the plays at playalberta.ca. Devontae Smith over 6 catches. Book it. That's what I'd be doing. I could get a lot tonight with A.J. Brown on the line. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Ewell. Partner in power since 1976. They have all the great electrical gear and now a 24/7 online store for you to order all the stuff. Never be without at ewel.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Pittsburgh Penguins re-signed captain Sidney Crosby to a 2-year contract extension running through the 2027 season with an AAV of $8.7 million. The 37-year-old was entering the final season of a 12-year contract he signed back in 2012. And the Detroit Red Wings and Lucas Raymond agreed to an 8-year contract extension with an AAV of just over $8 million. The 4th overall pick back in 2020 at 72 points in 82 games last season. Week 2 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Eagles hosting the Falcons down in Philadelphia. Kickoff set for 6:15. A lot of injuries today. 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan told reporters that wide receiver Deebo Samuel has a calf strain. He'll miss a few weeks. Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco expected to land on the IR after suffering a fibula injury in the win over the Bengals. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp left yesterday's game against the Cards with an ankle injury. It looks like he's going to land on the IR as well, along with teammates safety John Johnson and starting guard Jonah Jackson. And the Carolina Panthers making a change at quarterback as first-year head coach Dave Knauth will bench Bryce Young in favor of the vet Andy Dalton. This year, Young has completed 55% of his passes, 2 starts, 2 losses, 0 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Major League Baseball right now, Twins up on the Guardians 3-0 in the 4th. Also in the 4th, the Nationals have a 1-0 lead over the Mets. Braves, Dodgers, Tigers, Royals, Cubs, Athletics, Phillies, Brewers all scoreless in their games. Later tonight, Rockies host the Diamondbacks, the White Sox in Anaheim to take on the Angels, and the Padres host the Astros. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440. A Stingray.